are we eating?
No,
or
low key. Like if I start saying bruh,
ooh, okay.
I'm like, bruh, like come on, what's up? Like,
But I like that though. There's a visual cue, like you're
no, everybody
noticing,
know.
and a verbal one.
That
so.
is that is correct. Yeah, no, I don't like being.
two, y'all.
I don't like being. So when I do therapy, right before my like evening clients, I do eat. So I eat dinner real early. So like if my first client in the evening's at 5 p.m., I'm eating at 4, like 4:30. So I make sure like I can get the rest of the night. So let's say I have like a 5, a 6, and a 7. I cannot. There's no way I'm getting through that if I'm hungry. Like there's literally no way. So like, do I think I would have ever been eating dinner at 4 p.m.? No. But therapy.
You like a Belizean.
I have no choice. I ain't got no choice because I ain't gonna make it to 8. Like I'm just.
You like a Belizean. That's when they do dinner time.
Yeah.
It's like at 4 or 5.
Yeah. Don't eat like a little snack at the
okay.
end of the night, but I
Cultural
can't be.
nugget.
What's a snack?
Ooh, that's a good question. What's a snack?
It's actually not that exciting. What I'm about to say. I always eat.
It's
fruit.
okay.
I always eat fruit, like a bowl of fruit.
Oh,
That ain't
That's
that
a
exciting.
snack.
That ain't
That's
that
very
exciting.
cute and clear
That ain't that.
skin.
I'm not.
I
That ain't
feel
that
like
exciting.
that's a snack.
So it's like my strawberry, like anything berry. So like strawberries, blackberries. It's not that.
Blueberries.
Plums. Sometimes I put some plums in there and make a little medley. It's cute when I like it. So that it's not that exciting, but
So like the
feel
fruit
like
cups when
Sierra's
we was
prayer.
younger. The fruit cups when we was younger, but like the adult one.
Hey.
Now this one got antioxidants.
this
and
day.
you already know.
Gets rid of
It
free
got
radicals.
fiber,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So yeah,
That's what I said. So it's cute. And
Yeah.
clear
It's still a
skin.
snack. That's a snack.
yeah.
What about you? What's a snack? What's a snack?
Cereal.
Ooh.
I'm a cereal fiend.
Which one?
Man,
Or all of
if
them?
it's late night, man, I keep it kind of responsible. I do like some Honey Nut Cheerios or Raisin Brans.
I like Raisin Bran
Yeah.
Crunch. I can't enjoy it now, but
But
Raisin Bran Crunch is amazing.
if I'm off the libations, like oh man, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I mean, Simmons is
Taste you can see.
Yeah, I mean that's classic.
Reese's.
Oh my
Classic.
God, people
Classic.
stay sleep on the Reese's, bro. The Reese's smack.
Anything Reese's is
They
kinda good.
schmack.
Just
They-
Reese's.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So what's your midnight snack?
My favorite. I'm kind of sad that you said cereal because a part of me wants to say cereal.
It's okay.
bro.
Listen, it's room in the car. You can hop
I
in
like.
cereal with.
I love cereal. I can eat cereal at any point of any time, any
Anytime.
day. I don't
I-
care
it
what
don't
it
matter.
is, hot, cold. If
Does
it's hot
not
outside,
matter.
if it's cold outside,
Right.
I will be in my robe, in my blanket, with a bowl of cereal.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna say my most favorite simple cereal. I'm gonna always have mad love for Frosted Flakes. For me, Tony the Tiger. That's my
hit and miss
guy.
with Frosted
Yeah,
Flakes.
I
You
like
know?
Frosted Flakes.
If I want to get a little razzle dazzle up in there, I might be a little fun and childish. I might do a Lucky Charm. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad about it. Yeah. I'm cereal.
Actually,
Cereal.
I'm hella childish because when I eat Lucky Charms, I save the best for last. So I'll like purposely not eat the marshmallows.
Yep.
And then eat
Why I do the
Because
same
that's the
thing?
only way to
and
eat it.
then I just eat the bowl.
grown
Like
ass
I'm
adults
Because
hella
that's the
childish.
only way to
Yeah,
eat it.
Yeah, like
If
save
you do it any other way,
marshmallows.
something's
the
wrong
only
with
way to
you.
eat
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Don't mix them. You eat all at once.
You
I'm
eat
actually,
all
I
that-
actually feel real seen right now because
No,
I didn't
no.
know this was
That's
like a
how
thing.
you eat
Yeah,
it.
I was like,
That's
how
how
you
you.
eat it?
That's
Yeah.
how you got to do it.
That's
If
what's
you're
up. I feel
eating Lucky
seen.
Charms,
Yeah.
you got to get the cereal part out the way because the marshmallow. By the time you get to the marshmallows, they done soften up a little bit. The texture
wanna
is
see-
and then
different.
like, and then I was like, and the milk,
Milk,
tastes
yeah.
different.
The
Like,
milk
I
is
was
nice.
Drinking ass.
I want to say it
I'm
took,
talking about cereal for real.
like once upon a time, they did an all marshmallow. It was rare.
I didn't go that far though. I didn't go that far.
That's crazy, Sugar Ray.
No. Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms did a crossover.
I saw that shit.
It was delicious.
I remember that.
It was delicious because you could only find it in like Food Maxes. It was
makes
particularly
sense.
in
So
Food
I was like, I ain't
Maxes,
never heard of that one.
Yeah.
you
It's
know.
a reason why.
But I'm gonna say cereal, anything except like I couldn't do mini wheats. Don't give me mini wheats. Take that shit away from me.
I
I
do
don't
many
like
weeks.
mini
I could never
mom-
ever
I
do
just-
it.
like
taste.
mini
I didn't taste enough of the frosting on.
Me
the
neither.
mini. It
Nah,
was just, it
so-
just tasted.
It went
I
away.
can eat those dry, but what I do is I eat the part with the frosting
Dry
and then
is
throw the rest of the
cool,
way.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if
It's
you
like
just
a
like
sweet Triscuit.
Yeah.
It's like a
I
sweet
don't-
Triscuit.
You
It's
only
weird.
wanted the frosting.
True.
Because if you eat it with the milk, it's
the
gonna go
frosting
away.
just goes away,
It's gonna go away. And now it's just a little bit sweet milk with these like bales of hay in your bowl.
Yeah.
See, I posted a poverty line, you guys. Ain't no way in hell in my house.
Yeah, the
Boy, I eat that.
yeah.
I didn't even touch the box. I felt so bad. There would be times when
What
my
about
mama tried. I
Tricks?
wasn't eating.
Y'all ain't fuck with Tricks?
Yes,
no?
I did. Yes, I did.
I
Yes,
did
I
for a
did. I
minute,
fucked
but it
with
wasn't
Tricks.
like a.
Tricks.
See, they
I did.
changed the recipe.
I didn't.
I
You changed
did.
the recipe.
It was
Yeah.
it stopped. No, no,
changed
no.
the recipe.
On phone. On phone.
recipe?
They did.
God, they
It
do.
wasn't as sweet, and
Yeah.
it
Not they
tasted more
changed the recipe.
cardboardy.
Man,
That's what I'm saying.
The
Like,
It
recipe,
did.
that was hella funny.
It
They
did.
did.
They did the same thing with honeycombs.
Yep, and
I
I was laughing
promise.
at his
And
face.
Cookie
His
Crisp.
face was
He was
like,
And
ass. Like, they
Cookie
changed the recipe.
Crisp.
Nah,
Recipe.
because no, look,
Like, straight
I remember when I was
up.
like a
They
little
changed
kid,
the
right? Like my mom didn't buy like all the sweet cereal, so I go to like my cousin's house,
Oh, yeah.
and they had the good cereal. So it's like when I tasted, it's like, oh. So I had it as a little kid. Then when I got older and I tasted, I was like, oh, this ain't the same.
It's not
This
the
different.
same.
It's
It's
same
like
thing with Cookie Crisp. That's a different formula than the original Cookie Crisp. Mm-hmm. The original
I felt
Cookie
like the
Crisp.
original was closer to
I
cookies
wasn't
almost.
raised,
It was
like, Very
delicious.
informative about stuff I would never think
Yeah.
somebody just like informative on. You know what I mean? Like,
What?
You just like the way you know. Like,
Yeah, like, you got
like,
deep,
Listen,
like,
listen.
Like, you,
Then,
I'm with you.
when they stopped
I'm with
using
you.
die
Shame
number
on God.
5,
I'm
So-
with you.
I
I'm
was
with you.
Cereal used to be my shit.
That was
like,
my thing.
That was
Yeah.
the meal of choice.
used
Like
to.
yeah.
like breakfast,
To this
lunch, and
day.
dinner. You know that
Still,
that
I love
that's
cereal.
literally was the go-to. It's like it's simple, it's easy to make. Then I became lactose, and it was like I can't.
Oh, how rude.
Okay, but what kind of milk do you use now?
I don't eat cereal
I
now.
was like, yeah,
Oh,
I don't see
no.
For a minute, I was doing it with water.
Never mind.
shit.
You still gotta eat some cereal.
That's
girl.
what- right,
I still
see?
eat my cereal,
Nah.
whether
My
it's
favorite
2%
was-
or oat,
I was gonna
almond.
say
I'm gonna eat
almond.
it.
I'm
You know
I
what
like
it is?
almond milk.
I
I'm
can't.
unsweetened almond. I'm a little
I don't like none of the milks unless it's milk. It's like eating
tofu.
tofu's trash. It's like
That's
it's like
actually
it's
fair in the like almond milk. It ain't milk. Like we call it milk,
Yeah.
but it's just it's not
I don't
actual
want that.
milk.
Yeah, it's-
like, I don't
it's-
even know
Cream
what
of-
you call it, but it ain't.
Cream of.
it's
think
like
this farmer
when you
held
go
out about
somewhere
that, actually.
and they be like,
This farmer was hella
you can
mad.
get
we
this
buy it, don't we?
cauliflower
He was like,
chicken,
"Stop
and I'm
calling it
like,
milk, it ain't
no,
milk."
I don't want my
hella
vegetables to
mad. He
taste
was
like
like-
meat.
because
Pause.
he was
I
working
feel-
hard.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna eat my
cows,
vegetables
you
if I
feel me?
want
So he was like,
meat.
"Stop calling
Pause.
it
I'm
that."
gonna get meat.
Yeah,
Pause.
might want
If
it
not,
too.
I'm gonna get
Nah,
vegetables.
he was. You ever notice how some places actually spell like if you go to like some like little bougie smoothie places or whatever, they'll actually spell the milk like MY or something.
Yeah.
That's why though, because I think they're recognizing like it ain't milk. Like we call it milk, but like
Oh, crap.
it ain't really
Oh,
milk.
I mean, milk, like actual. Hey, do you know
Yeah.
that there are some people
Farmer
that
was
don't
hella
like to
mad.
hear that word?
Farmer.
What?
Sorry, y'all. There are people that don't like to hear the word milk. It sounds strange. Like it literally, like it's an audible, like ugh, to them.
I feel like that about moist.
That too. That too. That word too. I've heard that too.
Oh, wait a minute.
I feel
What
like
the
that-
hell
I've heard
is
that
the
too.
word moist?
Nothing's wrong with it.
It just sounds.
It just
like,
sounds weird.
It sounds
it
like
It just sounds a little
sounds
weird.
weird.
I'm sorry.
No, it's funny. I just thought about something my home.
Yeah, I used to use that word a lot too.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I just be like, I don't call it something else. Like, why I gotta, you know?
Yeah, I had a homeboy. Like he got. I feel bad. He was this girl was flirting with him, and she said something in his ear, and this man said, "Stop! You're gonna make me moist." It was like, "Wait, what?
What
What do you mean make you moist?
I would have been like,
You might need to go see
The
somebody
room
for
of
that,
men that
bruh.
stopped and looked at him like,
Yeah, that's.
You
"Fuck
gonna
you
make
mean
me
you
moist?
Because at that point, as a man, as you
that
know,
regard, that
you know
word
what
is
the other
terrible.
question is.
Wait, like,
but you
why?
like, I don't even want to go past this question.
Why you describe me as
Moist?
Yeah.
You need to go see
No,
somebody.
further than that. What the fuck is moist
Right.
on you? Like, you know what I mean? 'Cause
like what's making you moist, right?
Like, what is getting moist? Nigga?
Yeah,
Like,
like,
what body part?
Yes,
region?
What
none of
part
us want
gets
to ask that question.
increasingly moist in that?
Yeah, we didn't even ask questions. We just looked at him
They
like,
just move on.
Because that's all you. That's all you
You
can
just
do.
literally move on.
yeah, no, we all left. We all walked away.
Like,
Just
literally.
like,
Yeah, you gotta go.
everybody dispersed. Like this
You
group
gotta go.
hanging out.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
You didn't think that one through.
That's crazy.
didn't
Anyway,
think it went through.
we'll welcome y'all to another episode of Regular Thing Podcast. You know what I mean? We just over here chilling, you know, talking about
Feed me.
words that
Cartoons
are
and cereal.
crazy, cereal. I wish you had heard the conversation we had before the cameras were rolling. That was fun. One of my faves. Anyway, I am one of your co-hosts. I'm
He
your
rude.
player partner, your boy Kodak. Behind the lens is our good brother VS,
Cooler than the
aka
other
shape
side of the
God himself.
motherfucking pillow,
Yeah, yeah.
man. He's
You know
so
what I mean?
cool, man.
Come on, man.
Frost
Listen,
your
man.
eyelashes off. You better watch
You know what I
him.
mean? Come on, skin flawless. Look, come on. the brother actually bathes in milk. That's why you don't like drinking it.
Listen.
Come
The
on.
shea butter god. Okay.
Come on.
The god of shea butter.
They hella
His
extra.
face right now is
They
funny.
hella extra.
He just like, stop.
Nah, because you know what it is? Nah,
No, keep going.
because I was editing.
Stop.
He
I
was
was
actually
editing.
looking down and just trying to ignore what was happening. Yeah.
Because no, they're really trying to make this a thing. I went back to the
Bashful.
first episode when we was.
I promise you it's gonna
And
be
he
a
was
thing.
like, "Oh, we're gonna make this a thing.
Right.
Like this
Yeah.
is literally their goal."
Every
It's
episode,
gonna happen.
You
That's
will
funny.
hear
Like
from us.
when we post pictures and stuff, it's gonna be hashtag shea butter
Shape of
god.
the God.
Listen.
You just gotta figure out how to
You just gonna have to embrace it, bro. We can get on merch.
You got people who gassing you up. You feel me? Just let you know, it's like see your light. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Super anonymous.
We
man.
love you,
saying?
Iceman.
People don't even know what he
Yeah.
looks like that. So just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they just know the name of the shea. Who's the shea butter guy?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
The illustrious.
Yeah.
The elusive Chantruse.
Listen, you better be lucky because
shea butter
listen,
god.
you ever get on camera, we gonna have shit flickering. We gonna have lights going left and right. Oval light on you.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
hey, that's what happened the last time. That's why the cameras didn't work.
It's like,
Right after that episode,
they can't see me
That is
because I am the shea butter god.
Boo.
No one knows me but me. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, across from me is my good sister.
It's your girl Mari in the house. Okay, my hat definitely explains my mood. That's been my mood all day. For those of you that you know, you know. But for the rest of y'all, hi, how y'all doing?
Hey, that was a little violent. That was a little violent.
No, she was just letting us know how she.
Nah.
Hey, it's in my
Where she
aura.
at?
It's not.
Yeah,
it's in my
it's-
fit. It's in
that's
my
okay.
aura.
It definitely fit.
Hey, I was
definitely
not here
fit.
for it today.
Yeah,
okay.
I wasn't here for it
You
today.
want to do like a package drop off on the beach
Yeah.
somewhere in the park.
I did, but I wanted to look nice while doing it. I wanted
the
to
camera
still
caught you.
get the
I like it.
fit off.
I mean, it was a little windy
I'm
today.
still
so
accessorized.
That's what I'm saying. No, it was a little chilly today. You got so I feel like it's fitting for what's
See,
what's
I
going on.
try. I got a little
It's
distress.
late. It's you know what I mean. It's,
try.
Yeah.
She's
And
so
I'm warm.
amazing. Look at that. And our guest today, as you see how sweet she is. You may have heard of a Bay therapist, on Instagram.
A literal
social media.
breath of fresh air.
But if you don't know her,
And the
she goes
miasma.
by the great Sharon.
Yes, Sharon.
Yes. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Yes.
This was fun.
Yeah.
I was excited to do this because I want to go deep into like your background and have some fun with questions.
Yeah.
So let's just go a brief overview.
Yes.
Where are you from originally? You know what I mean?
Yes.
We know you from.
What do you know?
If you want to,
We
you know what I
want
mean,
you
down further
to tell the
audience,
people.
You know what I mean?
Because we know.
I always say I'm a little girl from East Oakland, California.
Hello?
You know,
That
Sharon,
is-
you
that
know,
is where I'm
Sharon.
from.
You
Yes,
been?
You
yes,
heard
yes.
us.
Hello?
I
You
would
heard
say
her.
that, yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
One and true. Okay, so now I want to know why does a little girl from East Oakland
Yes.
grow up to
Yes.
be a therapist?
Yes. So I always say I'm a little girl from East Oakland because you legitimately cannot separate me and Oakland. Like you literally can't. So
Beautiful.
the story is I grew up off a seminary and I grew up, and really this is what, back in the 80s, 90s, right? And this is Black communities. I'm talking about black parties and all that stuff, just the community. So I always just had an interest for Black people, Black joy, Black mental health from just very early age. So again, you cannot separate me in that background. And then, and at some point you grow up. Well, I'm sorry, when you're all in one neighborhood, I felt like we all the same, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point you grow up and you see that people start going down different trajectories. And
Yeah.
I was always curious, like, why is that? Or what happens to people, right? And so I could have helped all kind of ways, right? But I think I just had a natural interest in, like, just having conversations with people and really wanting to be like give people an opportunity to feel like they were seen or heard, right? And kind of try to motivate people when this world is hard, you know what I mean? So if I can kind of help in any way towards a trajectory for going down a different trajectory or people seeing themselves and loving themselves, I wanted to be a part of that. So that's really
Beautiful.
that's what it is.
How old were you the first time you used your first time being a therapist for someone?
This is a true story. I was like in junior high. Someone called me on a landline, right? This is before, so we had a
Go
landline,
back.
a landline, right?
Dang.
And somebody said, "You don't know me," but somebody said you a good person to talk to. and it was that day. I was like, oh, this is.
This is what I'm supposed to
Were
do.
you on party line?
Listen. I used to be.
Dun, dun, dun.
Actually, I'm kind of embarrassed. I shouldn't say this on camera.
The
So
plot
I was
thickens.
kind of, so like, I'm a little embarrassed to say this.
It's
but, like,
okay. We say embarrassing things on this camera all the time.
All the time.
All the time. Everybody.
time.
knows.
I actually don't think I've ever said. Okay, I'll share. So when I was in elementary, I was a conflict resolution manager. So I was on the playground and people were having issues, and I'm with a clipboard and an orange hat. Like
You better tell them.
like teaching I statements. Okay, so this was really me like very early, and then
How
I've just
awesome, though.
been that person that people just talk to, and really I credit my parents for a lot of it. I'm not saying this because I have to. My parents are incredibly brilliant thinking people, so I just grew up having like philosophical conversations, analyzing the world, thinking about the world from Oakland,
Right,
conflict resolution early, and then whatever, and then like. So then again, I got that call when I was like in junior high. And then I was even, Oakland, when I was like in high school, had this really cool program. It was called the Donald P. McCollum Youth Court, but it was like a diversion program for youth. And I was like a youth lawyer at the time. So, so I've always, being a part of Oakland and being a part of these kind of programs, I had did this like, and there was like this other program I did. It was at Cal, it was at Berkeley, but it was teaching you how to do a business, right? So anyways, and then I came back after being a participant and was a mentor. So I've just always been this way. I can't even explain it. So to answer your question, when I was in the 8th grade, I got the call. But then being in Oakland, because Oakland had a lot of youth programs that I got access to that I was able to do that were kind of community oriented. And involved in
I
that.
love that.
Yeah,
A
so
genuine
this been-
curiosity of people.
Man, and for it all to align in that way. Like
Yeah,
to literally
how
have a
awesome is
situation.
that?
To be a conflict. I'm sorry.
I'm kind of embarrassed.
I don't want to
but
mess
yeah,
up your
but I
title.
was-
No, it sounds like a very
conflict
prestigious
mediator,
title.
administrator?
Conflict
Resolute. I was figuring it's conflict
a
something.
conflict resolution manager. Like,
Conflict resolution.
yeah, it's really
A CRM.
I'm a little embarrassed, but yeah, that's a true story. I was in the 6th grade
CRM.
with a clipboard, teaching like I statements on the.
We need that in regular households now. Like when you see people arguing, I'll be back. Where's my hat and my vest? My clipboard.
I'll be back, guys.
She's like, all right.
Hey,
You see the vest, you see the hat.
yeah, if
Come
every,
on.
hey,
Shit
if
down.
every family
Come
had like
on.
an assigned conflict
Yeah.
resolution, hey,
You just see.
I mean, that's essentially what we got to do in an after school program. Because, like, we don't have, like, the curriculum, right? We obviously have to prove that our program is still helpful to the community. So we have to practice a lot of, like, social emotional awareness and
Correct.
practicing, social emotional intelligence and all these kind of very, very nice, flowery things. But then when
Fluffy-ass
you're actually
words.
there, like you said, in these programs, when you're there, oh no, work is being done.
right.
Yeah, but imagine having that type of thing at Thanksgiving when your drunk uncle show up on that bullshit.
Right.
And he
I
gonna
would
start an
love
argument
to be able to
in
make
the
a
kitchen.
call.
And he's like, all right, where's my best guy?
I would love that.
Uncle Jerry's here. Where's
Right.
hey, cut this shit out.
You got a whistle.
cut,
Right there.
cut this
I'm
shit
with
out,
Right,
Unc.
right.
He's
That's
like,
actually
I'm
funny.
with it.
like, that'd be amazing.
This is why you didn't get invited to the last one,
Exactly
That's why I
remember?
get invited.
You see the
Remember?
vest, Unc. What that mean? That means calm your ass down, okay?
Yeah.
That you see the vest, yeah.
What?
And don't forget the clipboard.
clipboard.
I'm writing your ass. So you get
The
another
vest and the
ticket.
clipboard, yeah.
And it was orange, naranja.
I promise you, let me get that. I'm giving everybody tickets. I know. All right, this
Not
is
tickets.
He can't be it. We know.
Your
we
ass
can't-
keep fucking with me. You go.
That's funny.
It's your
No,
12
he
month
can't
of
do
the
that.
day. You
Right,
keep fucking. All right.
right.
When I run out of this, I'm on your ass. So when I run out of these, I'm on your ass.
Right,
That's
right.
awesome.
I love that.
That's
What?
funny.
We
Yeah.
got, put that on the Christmas. We'll put that for the family.
That's
family
funny.
gathering.
Yeah.
Next family gathering. We go back.
So I'm glad I shared
will.
that. Yeah.
You
If
have
it's-
no,
if it's
I promise you.
motivating.
I'm
That
gonna
was
send
awesome.
you.
Yeah, if it's motivating, good.
What? I'm gonna send you a picture of me at the family Thanksgiving. But the
Right.
this
Actually,
nigga
actually,
did
please.
get the vest.
Yeah, that'd be great.
No.
Yeah.
He's dead ass.
No, I'm dead when I'm saying like send it to me.
I am
He's
so
dead
down for
ass.
sure. I am that person.
And
in any circle.
so am I.
I'm so down for that
That's
shit.
funny.
Okay, so when you were young, all the programs that were in Oakland, were you a part of them? Did you like become part of them? Like, is that kind of like a part of your journey of getting into like public? We call it public health.
Yeah, I mean, so what ended up happening was, also being from Oakland and where I went to, you know what I'm saying?
You saw the show.
It was, I wanted money because, you know, I liked buying stuff. I'd be in line at Foot Locker getting J's and sneakers and whatever. But the reason why I bring this up is because what happened was I had went to a career fair when I was 15 because I just wanted money. But they told me you're too young to get a job. You're not 16, so you got to go to the volunteer building. And I was like, my mom had to really talk to me. She was like, Sharon, let's just try. I was like, because immediately I was like, I don't
volunteer.
No
money.
I immediately was like, I don't.
Free work.
I legitimately didn't want to do this. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
So my mom was like, Sharon, let's just try. So this is actually how these programs came about. And so I went to a table, and it was this young entrepreneurs program, and Cal Berkeley did it. And you know, but what got me, they were like, you know, you create a business plan, and if you win the first year, you get $500 to start the business. I was like, oh, lit. Yeah, I want to do it, right?
Boom.
And so
Hook, line, and sinker.
you know, and so that's what kind of helped. And then the next year they had a program, if you did that, you got more money for it or whatever. So the money piece was actually the motivation. At the time.
I love that you are money motivated.
I was motivated. I wanted stuff. You know what I mean? At that age, you know?
The guala.
And again, I just wanted sneakers and J's and Nikes. I mean, that was kind of, you know, whatever. But anyways, that's kind of how that happened. And so that's when I got at again, I don't think they do this anymore, but that's how I got part of that Cal Berkeley program, came back and became a mentor for it. And then the youth court program, that's how I got a part of that. And that program was really cool. I actually wish they still had something like that, but kind of just really in short, what it was like a youth that did something. So it wasn't guilty and this was a real court. Like this was a real thing, right? So they were guilty of some sort of misdemeanor, right? So this was like the thing. So it used to be at the courthouse here and in front of a real judge, you know, whatever. And really what it was the prosecution was trying to get them like the worst sentence, if you will, and then the defense is trying to get the lighter. But the person had to do it. So either they had to do like community service hours or write a letter of restitution, whatever, they had to do something. And if they did it, then they don't go to juvenile court or juvenile hall, right? But then if they don't, then they go. So it was a way to kind of get youth to like pay for what they did, but on the right track before going to in the system, basically.
And teaching them how to hold themselves and each other accountable.
So it was like, and they had like a youth jury. I mean, it was like this whole thing. So anyways,
beautiful.
Long answer, but I wanted a job, couldn't get a job, volunteer, then on accident got a part of all these kind of programs and mentorship and being a part of youth things, you know? So yeah, that's kind of how that happened. So yeah, it was just.
And from that,
that's cool as fuck.
You went from there to, that's when you, before then, did you know you were going to be going to psychology, or was that like one of those moments of like, I think I should be?
Because it could be like psychology or like outreach, right? So like,
I knew it was going to be for the people. I knew I was going to help people. So again, 8th grade, I knew I wanted to be somebody, sort of, and then I kind of wanted to be a lawyer. But so I don't know that defining moment of like, I'm just going to be a therapist. But by the time I got to Sac State for undergrad, it was orientation. They said, what's your major? And I said psychology. Like, it was just that moment. I just declared it, and I never looked back. I literally
declaration of excellence.
Never looked back. So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I never looked back. During orientation, never looked back.
Yes, being a psych major in college, I hadn't go through that. I went to accounting first, and then to me, too much math. You niggas are tripping. Let's see how niggas' brains are working.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
I think what it was is my professor. Cause I started off at like Chabot, so my professor. I'm fresh out of high school, and I remember I went to summer school first, I think, just to get going. And I had a teacher in summer school, and he looked at us and he's like, "I'm gonna tell you right now, this is not if this is one of those like electoral classes, good for you. But we're actually going to be doing work in here.
There you go.
You know, I just want everybody to know that. I think he was a sports psychologist. He was a family therapist and relationship. And so he had all these hustles. And he was talking. He said, look, I know I'm like this white man with these plain clothes, but it costs a lot of money to look this cheap.
Come on, Dolly.
I was like, boom. I like him. I like when he's talking that shit. I was talking to him. He told me like,
where'd you go? What school?
I went to Chabot, and then after Chabot,
okay.
Yeah, then after that I went to East Bay.
Okay. But this
is at Chabot. This is when I knew, because I was like, again, it's freshman. I'm fresh out of high school. That same time I had an accounting class and I had the psychology class, and I wasn't sure, and I took that, and he he just started talking real shit. He's like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I make a lot of money being a therapist. And he just kept it so real. He was like, I was horrible in school, went to high school, I sucked at math. I had these math scholars for siblings. I went there. All the teachers they had, I had. I took classes, I sucked at math. They looked at me and said, you're not going to be anything. You're not going to measure up to anything. Your siblings are way more intelligent than you. And he looked at them and said, fuck math. I only need this shit to balance my checkbook. And he said, you know what?
I was right.
50 years old and fuck them.
I feel it.
I was like, I like it.
I feel it. Yeah.
It's just the realness that got me into it.
Yeah.
I like this. This
Yeah.
is relatable. We're having conversation. And that's when I was like, I think psychology is for me.
Yeah.
So like, I always like to ask someone who studied, like, when did you know you were like a brainiac? You were into stuff like that, because you do find yourself in these
Yeah,
paths
you do,
of
yeah.
things that like remind your life early on. You're like, I think I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you went to Sac State. What about your post grad school?
I went to Cal State Fullerton, so Orange County. Yep.
Yeah, that was rough.
It was a transition. It was definitely a big
A
transition.
lot of growth when you say transition.
It was a big transition. Actually, so my thesis was on Black women, and I had to try to find Black women in Orange County. I was like, out of all the topics, and the demographic I'm looking for,
I gotta find
I had to do that in Fullerton, California. So I do remember being like, okay, Sharon, you could have maybe picked something else, but that was what I wanted to do at the time.
HBCU wasn't on the board for you?
Looking back, I don't have too many regrets. Looking back, but back then, the out-of-state tuition, I think it was just like a money thing, logistic thing of why that didn't happen.
Same here.
Yeah, if I remember right. I mean, I think that's really what it was. So
Yeah, out-of-state taxes will fuck you up.
yeah. So
Gotta
that's really
say
what
taxes,
it was.
say like you trying to come back for the holidays and you came.
And my undergrad, Sac State really didn't, because like FAFSA, my GPA, so like the tuition the first couple years really didn't, I think it was free. I don't think my parents had to help me too much with that. And then, so it was like a money thing. I mean, that's really kind of, I think, what it came down to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, now let's start having fun. Bay therapist.
Yes.
I want to start there first because that's how I discovered you.
Yes.
Bay
initially.
Area.
So, long story short, people who may care or may not, how Sharon and I got to know each other was first I started following her social media. I found her, algorithms, and I just liked the advice she was giving. She was just very forward with like just information, and I'm an information person.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so you just follow somebody, like, whatever, and then like I forgot which post you did, but I think it's something where you were more, you pull back the red curtain, as I would say, and start talking about yourself. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm connected. Cool. Because a lot of times, I think, especially people when it comes to therapy, you always feel like somebody's going to talk at you or somebody's going to judge you, and you don't know shit about themselves. So sometimes I think people look at therapists as like this just like perfect person because you chose this profession, so you got to be perfect mentally. But you like, no,
No,
I mean,
not at all.
Everything's going on.
Yeah, actually, I don't even like that pressure of trying to be perfect, honestly. So I appreciate that resonate with you, because I don't try to be, because I don't want to be, and I don't want nobody to think I am. We are all trying to figure this out, every last one of us. So, but I'll let you finish. But I appreciate that's the thing that resonated, because
that got me on the hook, and then we seen each other, and I nervously stopped you and be like, I love your shit.
Yeah.
Just kind of like walked off like, I don't know.
Fan guy.
Because how you tell someone like, I'm a fan of how much you talk about mental health and therapy on social media.
Actually,
Just
it's
like
kind of downplayed. He was so nice. I
believe that.
He was.
I believe that.
I was like touched. I was like, no, I had talked about that later. So I'm gonna just add a little bit. So I had ran into him, and he was just like, nah, I've seen your videos. I really appreciate what you're doing for the community. Like, we need people like you. Like, it's important. I was mind you, I was out in the streets. I might have been even under the influence a little bit, But it was like a Friday night and Saturday, and he's like having this moment, and I was like, oh my God.
I'm so drunk, but thank you.
I was like,
I love moments
my
like
God.
those.
Yeah,
They're so
he was
endearing.
so sweet.
Yeah.
So I always call it like a friend in my head.
Yeah.
No, I called it like he was a friend in my head. I'm like, I don't know him, but I
That's
like
my
him.
friend.
Though. Yeah, like we friends.
That's my friend.
So
It was
it was
cool.
so sweet.
He is
and
cool
touching.
like that.
It was very.
He is actually mad cool. For
Yeah, no, it was very.
He's
sweet.
mad
I
cool
was,
for it.
I was touched.
Yeah, but because for me, it's just one of them things. Like representation is important for us, for our community. So it's just like to see a woman, a black woman, who's again, social media can be harsh to a lot of people, and it usually is. You know, I mean, we've seen what it does to people. You know, and so for you,
Hello.
you know what I mean. So to see you put a camera up that you don't have to do this, to give information for free, you don't have to do that, and to be vulnerable in front of people who are following that you don't know, you don't have to do that, and you did all those things, and I was just like, okay. I fuck with this, and like I'm one of the people I get very curious, and I just start want to know more. And so when we started this, I was like, I have to have you on because as creatives, you know, we talk about like we have things to do. We do check-ins,
Right.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
we'll do check-ins and we'll have a conversation with like, how are you, and we'll just have a conversation amongst us three on camera, on mic, just being fully transparent. And so you were important because of that, because it's like we need to have someone on to talk about those type of things because regular people go through struggles, you know, creators go through the struggles, mental struggles, entrepreneurs go through mental struggles, but we need
Business
more
owners,
people that we
business
can recognize and
creators.
see that can walk us through, or at least we know, again, like having a social media, having a medium for people who cannot afford therapy, to then have somebody at least look at time to time they post and be like, okay, that little bit of advice I could keep with me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So where did the inspiration for Bay Therapist social media account come from?
Yeah. I knew, and I'm still in the process of it, but I knew at some point I was going to have something, whether that was a book or I used to, it's still in my back of my mind, but like a mental
buying
health
it.
app
When
or
she
like
write
a,
it, I'm buying it.
like a something,
And you need to
right?
sign it.
And I just was like, I just want people to know that I'm here. That was all that is. And I don't have this product. I have nothing in my head yet. Like but whenever this happens, I'm here. I just wanted people to kind of know that I was here and that I was here to help and was available. And what ended up happening, surprisingly, was people would begin DMing me and be like, do you do therapy? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, I do.
Right,
I
there you
do,
go.
right? And
As a
then
matter of fact, that is.
but that wasn't even like the intention of it.
Yeah.
It was just like I just want people to know I'm here, kind of give facts to the point that's free. So again, you don't have to pay money for it. So on Bay Therapist, I actually kind of take pride in the fact that Bay Therapist has never sold anything. You know, like there's nothing, I've never marketed anything ever, you know. So I just, yeah. So it was just like I want people to know that I was here, that I was available. I'm touched when people do DM me and ask me for like therapy, but that wasn't even the intention of it from the beginning. So yeah, just to kind of give free game if I can and teach and people know that I was here. That's really what it was about.
But that has to still be something too, because like I said, representation. So to literally be able to decide like, hey, I'm gonna let people know like I exist.
Like,
In
Hey.
case you need to, I know y'all be on this platform a lot.
Right.
Y'all spend most of your life on this fucking platform.
Right.
So I know y'all mind's fucking up. If y'all need to, I'm right here. I could just give you a little something. So
yeah.
there was no intention to grow it into like something bigger. There was not
No.
like a
Like it was just hi, hello, I am here, free game to listen to.
Did you start like giving game from the beginning, or was you just posting pictures, or
No,
like,
it definitely started off as Bay Therapist. Like so, it was
okay, so it wasn't
Straight out the gate.
no,
So it was intentional.
it was intentional. It was Bay Therapist from the very beginning. Yeah, just giving facts, any tips that I thought I
What's
could share.
what's something that you feel like you've learned about yourself in this journey? Because I feel like it takes I believe a really special kind of person to be able to connect with people and help to heal some of the things that we've all experienced, especially as creatives. A lot of times we kind of funnel a lot of our pain and trauma through what we are creating.
Yeah.
But for you as a creative, your art is being able to help other people heal and other people recover. So
Yeah.
what's something that you've been able to learn about yourself?
You know what you're saying about myself? I can tell you something that I feel like I've learned and something that I'm very grateful for.
Ooh, yay.
So, and this is the truth, and I genuinely feel this way. The way that people like Kodak or like anybody on the street who see me or comments, the way that I feel like people have supported me, I feel just as supported from the community as the community I'm trying to serve, right?
That's
or help
wonderful.
or whatever, right? And so I don't know if that's about myself, but I'll just tell you, it's a humbling experience to feel like people support me.
Yeah.
That feels good to me. So when people like comment, and the thing is, for everybody out here, I'm not a major influencer. Right? It's not like I got thousands of thousands, right? But what's been cool about Bay Therapist is the engagement of it with
Yeah.
the followers. That part is real, and I feel that like the level of likes or comments on the stuff. I'd be
Yeah.
like the people who do follow me, they are engaged,
Yeah.
and that makes me happy. I'm like, that's lit. Like,
Yeah, because you're actually touching it. You know
For
you
sure.
have
You can
Yeah.
see
receipts
it.
that you're touching
Yeah.
people.
yeah, so I think that's the thing that stands out the most about
That's
this entire process.
wonderful.
Yeah, I feel super supportive. I feel extremely lucky.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I feel really, really lucky.
So, like, how do you, like, even being that you're on social media, do you get negative comments at all? Do you get anything at all?
No, no,
That's dope.
I have not. And that's what I feel lucky. I
That's
feel
awesome.
Yeah. No, I do not get negative comments. I've
And
never
please
had it.
continue that, please. You
Yes.
know, there are people.
Yes.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
There are
Show
people
love.
out there
Yeah.
in the world that are genuinely out there to help us
Yeah,
and
so
to
don't
look
fuck
out
it
for
up.
us. You know,
Don't fuck it up.
water the trees, don't cut them
Yes.
down.
That's right. Yes.
Water
Keep
the
that up,
trees,
keep that
don't
up.
cut them
Yeah.
down.
No, I've had a lot of love. So like so yes, takeaways. I'm grateful. I'm super.
I want to go on keeping this realm. So, we've talked about your past,
Yes.
as far as your background, how'd you get to where you are now.
Yeah.
We've talked about the Bay Therapist. Where does all this just desire to help people come from? Because like it seems like throughout your life you just had points where just like you've been that person to help people.
Yeah.
So like where is there like a motivation? Is it like did you have like your grandparent was somebody who just everybody went to Pawpaw all the time and just like, you know.
No, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if this is spiritual, but it's like the
It is.
job. It's like the job that chose me. I mean, really, like I really it was just in me. I mean,
Nothing else felt natural.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's
It's in
I
her,
mean,
not on her, cuz.
low key, and I just think. I mean, again, I keep going back to Oakland. I mean, I really just credit a lot of this to just honestly what I saw. Just growing up, I was like, there got to be a way I come back and help. Like there has to be. I don't know. I just saw a lot growing up.
How do you describe your love for Oakland? Because we've had conversations with people who are from Oakland, who are creatives, and it's always this interesting deep dive into their brain of their POV of how they grew up here. So, like, how do you see? Because I said we keep coming back to like Oakland,
Yeah.
being from Oakland, community, Oakland.
Right,
So it's
right.
like, what is it about this city that just like moves you?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I do say me and Oakland are in a relationship, right? So there's some moments that like we really in love, and there's other moments where I'm like, I think we need a break right now. Like we just need some separation
That's
a little
so
bit. And then there's
crazy.
other times I'm like, okay, I feel like we kind of get like we're gonna slowly get back into it. So so I'm not gonna front like there's me and Oakland are like in this real life relationship, and we have ups and ebbs and flows of
Old
like,
school
of
relationship.
a
That's
relationship.
crazy.
You feel me?
Old school relationship.
Like, right? But when I think about, kind of like if you even think about like your first love, right? Even if it worked out or not, like the foundation of who you are was probably shaped from that beginning love for that thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think,
Drink.
there we go. You smart. I was like, I did not.
No.
I understand, forgot.
He got a dad hand.
I see. I didn't.
Like I'm a little boy bro today. The dad always cup.
I got you. No, you.
I
acted
didn't.
Smart. Yeah, no, I was like,
I did.
Dad hand.
I was
bro.
staring like,
That dad hand.
I'm
is
looking
real.
at you. I'm like,
Yeah, I was like,
I'm
what? What I was like oblivious.
If you were a little boy that grew up with a dad,
No.
a dad hand.
I was
just
mom.
funny.
It just comes. You just know you're. Oh, okay.
that is funny.
The kids always just follow their hand because they never tell you. Hey,
That is
Oh,
funny.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
oh.
That is
so
funny.
you
That
just
is
get
funny.
good at like. Okay. Anyway.
That is funny. All right, so love, Oakland, so the foundation. So my love for I'm trying to think what we're talking. So it's the love for helping people. Like where did it kind of come from,
Yeah, where
right?
did all that-
so
'cause
so I just think. I mean, I think again, just kind of thinking about the beginning of my relationship with Oakland, right? Again, just growing up in positive Black communities where there was love and all that. I just was like, Black joy is like cool, like that's a good, beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So that was it. And then again, you grow up, and I see people going down different trajectories. So I was just like, dang, and you know, and again, like I had both my parents, I had a good upbringing, And I just kind of came to understand that, like, not everybody has my story, right? Not everybody has the same opportunity as me, not any of that. And that's the only thing that separates people really is opportunity and exposure. Like, that's it. Like, the most brilliant people I knew was from the hood, talk with a certain vernacular, little slang or whatever, and they were the most brilliant people I had ever met, you know? So I just think, again, just like, and being exposed to all types of people, right? So I know, or I had that understanding of, like, everybody, wherever you from, got talent or they smart or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just think from the beginning, it was just like, I understood that everybody had potential. It was exposure and opportunity to things. And so I just wanted to help as far as like giving people.
Continuing to foster
Yeah,
that.
and giving people an opportunity to explore their strengths, their motivations, the love for themselves, and not losing that love for themselves or forgetting who they are when this world getting hard or unfair or just
It's
hard,
tough though doing that, especially in a city like Oakland, because it is that type of, it's that up and down. You say it's really a relationship. It's a long-term relationship.
I was gonna say
It
there.
is. It is.
At least 2 other of our guests, I want to say, described it as a relationship in a way.
Yeah. No, it's
Especially to leave and come back.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's been an up and down relationship.
Yeah.
No, for sure. There's moments where I'm frustrated, you know, but yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how many people know this, but you are fully into your private practice,
Yeah. I don't know if you guys
which is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, clap it up. Clap
That's
it up,
like-
entrepreneur.
Yeah, and this is like this new.
Boss.
So this is
That new.
we like 3 weeks into it, maybe a month. So baby coming on a month. So this is like new.
Yes.
Yeah, full-time private practice. Yeah, super new.
What
That's
sparked
cool, though.
that like motivation?
That's cool as fuck.
That's amazing. That's
fucking
tough.
Yeah, no, I know. I was saying, yeah, no.
You just gonna put that carpet.
Yeah, but I'm still,
safety
I'm very
blanket.
much at peace about it. But yes, this was a huge decision for me, for sure. Yeah.
How long did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
For sure, the last 2 years.
Okay, word.
For sure. The last 2 years, I was like, I'm gonna make this happen.
Was it hard kind of pulling away from like that
100%.
safety net?
100%. So I, going back to psychology and why I wanted to do what I did. So you know how your teacher at Chabot was like, I make good money. So I had the extremely opposite experience, right? So when I was majoring in psychology, everybody was like, don't do it.
Yes, no money.
Nobody make money. Don't do it.
You hear it all the time. It's no
Don't do it. It's a waste of time. You ain't gonna make no money. So I had really struggled in the beginning of like, I want to do this thing, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna make money from it, right? But there's a reason why I give you this background is because, so I remember graduating, and I'm like, I'm 27, 28. I got this master's degree, so on and so forth. Sharon's working 3 jobs, right? Full-time job. Then I would get off, like, and I would go to, I lived in San Leandro at the time. I would get off. I would drive to Hayward, 6 to midnight, go to sleep, do it over again. And then I did a on-call job in San Mateo on the weekends, right? Just because I was like, I live in the Bay and whatever. So there was a period of time where I was like, I knew I wanted to help people. I know I be talking about the Black community now, but did I ruin my life? Right?
for real.
No, I had to question that. Like, I know.
Valid.
Like,
So
did I
valid.
ruin my life
Yes.
wanting to help people? And everybody tried to tell me, don't do it. And here I am,
doing it.
right? Like, literally doing
the
it,
damn
right?
thing.
And so to even go back to this question, like, was it hard? So that's just kind of, I'm really trying to provide context of why this was hard. So then, 31, I get my big city job.
Okay.
Boom, right? For me at that time, I might as well have been working at Google. You would have thought I had just won the freaking lottery, right? Because it was at the time it was like great paying. It was a
Wonderful.
immediate pay increase for me. So every day I'd be at work, and city employees ain't nobody ever happy, right? And so people would complain. I'd be like, y'all ungrateful. I used to always say that.
right.
I'd be in a meeting. I'd be like, y'all ungrateful. Y'all ain't never had it bad. Y'all
was
ain't never.
kind.
No, every day. You would ask my student every day. I'd be like, they'd be like, Sharon, how you doing? I'm like, happy to be here, man. I'm happy. That was every single day.
Right.
I ain't got no
Yeah.
complaints.
I'm
I
grateful.
was getting this pension. I was like, whatever. So to get to, was it difficult? Yes. Because I had went from, I didn't have no money to, and granted, I was by no means rich or whatever it is,
But you were
right?
like, yeah.
But like the city changed the city of Berkeley, like changed my life
Yeah.
as far as that was concerned. And so then financially, it was like the most stable I had ever been, right? So then it felt really weird to be like, I want to leave it. That was weird. Ain't talking about like another relationship. That felt like a marriage. It felt like, because I had been in the city almost 9 years. So I felt like after 7 years, I'm kind of questioning, do I still want to be in this relationship?
Yeah.
So it was very difficult, yes, to finally be like, I'm going to leave this job that I thought I was going to retire from, keep forever. And that really had kind of saved my life at the time. Or I felt like I saved my life just because I didn't have to struggle as much.
Yeah,
you know? So that, yes, absolutely. So that was 2 years in the making and knowing what I was giving up.
See, people, it takes
Retirement,
time.
pension.
Takes
I had to
time to
be
make decisions
very
like that.
mentally prepared.
Yeah.
Like, whoo. No, when I sent my resignation letter, I did it on my computer. And I kind of looked away, and the mouse was right here, and I swear I was like, and I just sent it, and I had to
Walk away.
Not, like literally walk away.
You gotta literally get up and walk. I didn't
I got it.
yeah. So that was a very long story to
Look,
answer that
quietly
question.
close this laptop.
That was long
Stands
story
up
to
and
answer
walks
that
away.
question, but yeah, yes, very hard.
Man, aren't you glad you live in a place where
Very hard, very
libations are legal?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Help.
Yes.
So how long did you have your private practice?
That's a
before
great
you-
question. That's a great question. So I worked my 9 to 5 for almost 9 years, and I've been doing private practice for 6. So I did the two things.
So
for
you
6
went back to
years.
working 2 jobs.
I went back to working 2 jobs
Because you a hustler.
because I was hustling.
In the
Because she
bay.
from the ESO, man. We gonna get it, man. Listen, man.
You ain't
this
never got to
side, we
worry
get
about
it.
us
Yes,
on
yes. We
gonna get to
everything,
it.
man.
Yes.
We gonna get to what need to be done on folks.
Right. Yeah. I went
All
back
the
to 2
folks
jobs.
on the
yeah.
hood.
Yeah. So I did the 2 things for 6 years.
Damn. And so at that point, you're just like, all right, I feel like I can sustain myself and let that
I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Yes, I think I can sustain myself. I'll let y'all know in a couple
always
months,
hope.
or a few months of how it feels.
We're
right?
gonna speak into
But,
existence.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I mean, I think it'll be fine. I just think so. Why make the decision? You know, I just really loved private practice. Like my love for it just kept getting more and more. I really enjoyed my clients. I have a contract with the students, so I work with Cal Berkeley students primarily, but I have a contract. I can see any of the UC students.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And I
okay.
really love students. They're really fun to work with, and again, it's kind of fun because I do feel like I'm kind of mentoring the next generation. in here,
Yes,
right?
yes, I feel that.
And so then I kind of discovered this love that I don't think I would have known I had, you know. And so the more I work with the students, the more I'm like, this what I want to.
So the flower it keeps blossoming.
This is really what I want to do.
wonderful.
And so then when somebody would email me and ask me about therapy, and I had to say no because my private practice that was so part-time was full because I have this 9 to 5 job. At some point as an
gotta-
entrepreneur, you have to make that decision. At some point, you gotta
Yeah.
let it go. So so I just wanted to create more room and space for the things I want to do, for the things that I love to do.
But like I said,
Sacrifice.
with this being your calling, it seemed like the 9 to 5 was getting away your calling.
I
Yeah.
believe so yeah.
You know
what it sounds like.
Because you felt that pull
Yep.
of like, I need to be over here. And that's something that we don't talk about enough as creatives, is that when you decide to take your passion and make it your full-time income,
Yep.
it's a lot of anxiety that go along with that.
Yep.
You know, because you're out on faith.
Yeah.
You're pretty much out on faith. And what
Yeah.
you feel like this calling is, you know, that's gravitationally pulling you into this direction, and you're just like, please don't pull me into the pits of hell with this idea.
I has done given my good coin and my
I
good
was
effort
fine baking cupcakes on
and
the
my
weekends.
good focus.
Yeah.
But see,
Right.
and this is the faith part, right? So the faith part is, because again, it's the worst case scenario. You're like, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna survive? You know, whatever it is. But the thing is, you don't know. And so even when we think a job is more safe, we actually don't know. We have
It's
no,
like the same level of
we
new.
don't know.
Yeah.
Is a job always safe? People get laid off or whatever all the time. Like you don't.
You don't.
2020 happened, y'all.
2020 happened.
2020
right?
happened.
Like you don't actually know. And so I kind of So what I've been trying to do is stop saying like something is safe. Like I don't know it's safe. But what I do know is that I was becoming increasingly more unhappy at the 9 to 5. And so then I started becoming that disgruntled employee, right?
yeah.
And so I had to make a decision around like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know I can't live like this anymore.
I know that feeling.
And then, so then at that point, I just made the decision. I don't like feeling like this. I don't like
love
feeling
that.
angry or upset. But when I do this private practice, I'm actually really happy. So I'm gonna just
Go
go.
be happy.
I'm gonna just go and do that. And
Would you say that's when you like discovered your value as an entrepreneur?
yeah, I think, I mean, I think we're actually talking about it now, but so my value of who I am and what I offer, but also entrepreneur, being very clear about what values I'm chasing.
Yeah.
Right. And so the value that I'm chasing, which is from the time I was young, right, was really like, Black folks are new to the mental health conversation. So how can I be accessible and be somebody that like can bring Black folks
Right.
into the conversation and create a safe space for it, right? And then money-wise, it's been a business plan for me thinking about how I keep this affordable for folks, right?
Right.
And so I think I've done a good job at that, right? And so, and I think that's the value that I'm bringing is because I really have stuck to that value of like, I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and that passion is there. And so that's the value because I'm doing the thing that I'm passionate about or care about, right?
There's so many people that are like, you know, and it's not saying it in a negative way, it's more of an observation. There are so many people with these wonderful dreams and hopes of what they want to be and what they could have been. And because they didn't take the chance, they didn't make the sacrifice, right?
Right.
They ended up prioritizing that 9 to 5
Right.
over the thing that actually fulfills them.
Right.
They end up in that woulda, coulda, shoulda zone.
Right. But I think that's where the values come in at,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
like, there's a difference between like values and goals.
Yeah.
Right. So like
Sure.
a goal is like a checkbox mark, like, okay, boom, boom, boom.
Achieved.
Boom,
Boom.
right?
Yeah.
But this value is this forever thing that you chase, and that's actually far more empowering than a goal, right? Because the way goals work, so I'll speak for myself, right? Just me as an example, it was like, okay, Sharon gonna graduate, that's the goal, boom. And then as time goes on, you get a new goal, right? Okay. Then it was Sharon just needed to make money, right? So then now this is becoming the thing, right? And I'm learning that as a value wasn't making me happy, right? It was a goal and I did it and I achieved it, right? It was like, okay, cool. I make more money, cool, great, right?
Check, check, check.
So again, I think the shoulda, coulda, woulda is I think it's hard to stick to your values, right? I think that's hard because then you do make these hard decisions around
Yeah,
like
it
money or
takes
whatever
that.
it is,
It
right?
takes
So I
that.
just think the leap of faith is the like you chase the values, and I think I do believe this that consequences naturally happen as a result. Like it's
Yes.
like these good outcomes are a natural byproduct of what happens when you chase your values.
As a word
beautiful.
person, I like that you use the word consequence, but said that a good thing
In a
comes
good
from.
way,
Yeah,
yes.
Isn't
like,
it awesome?
Yes.
Isn't it awesome?
I like that.
Connotation's key here.
It's tough doing that shit, like knowing and understanding your value and like and seeing how what you can bring to the table, especially pertaining to your goals or your dreams in life. You know, a lot of people undervalue themselves,
Oh,
so
man.
they don't push for it. They don't
Right.
think that they deserve this lifestyle. Excuse me. They don't think they deserve to be in my way of looking at the person that they imagine in their head.
Right.
You know, they believe it's supposed to stay fictional.
Right.
You know, so to go there and then decide like, okay, I have this comfort. You know, I went through all this shit. I did the things
Right.
Yeah.
to
yeah.
get into this position.
Achieve the goals.
Right.
I did it, and then now I'm here and like, yeah, I'm stable. Things going, but it's just like this doesn't feel like I'm reaching my pinnacle. I look at it as like your like elite level.
Yeah.
Like I feel like most people have like that elite level in them to where like we never really tap into our full maximum capabilities.
Right.
We only stop at the line we feel is safe because we don't know
Yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah.
beyond here.
And it's still familiar because
Yeah.
unfamiliarity, there brings like anxiety, there's fear, there's uncertainty, right? There's
Yeah.
like, oh no, unknown, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
But sometimes not even sometimes, all of these things I think are associated with growth.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because every aspect of growth is you stepping into something new and you gathering something new.
And the thing is, and I tell my clients this all the time, but you've been doing new stuff your whole life. From the time you was your first day at school, from the time you started that first day at the job, from that first day you went on that first date and you ain't never been on a date before, whatever. I mean, whatever.
Those
first
That-
words,
that
first
first
steps.
solo
Yep,
trip, that
yeah.
first whatever, right? And so what I do in therapy all the time is when somebody's like, I'm scared to do something different or take the change, I always ask clients, can you tell me a time that you started something new and it was hard? Then they tell me the scenario, and I'm like, so how did you get through it? What did you do? What characteristics did you have? What is it? And I have people kind of list out their character traits, right? So are you determined? Are you resourceful? Are you creative? Are you like, what is it, right? And what of those, and using those character traits, how did you do that thing? Whatever that lesson is, and I'm telling everybody who's watching this, whatever that lesson is, apply that to all new scenarios. It's the same thing. Like you're going to be doing new stuff
All the time,
your whole
essentially.
life. So I think we can be selective about the new experiences that we're trying to open for ourselves, right? So are you going to have the first experience in doing the job you don't actually like because whatever, or are you going to do the new experience of doing something on your own? But either way, it's new.
Either way.
It kind of doesn't matter, in my opinion.
It's so grounding.
Yeah.
It's very grounding.
We always forget. We always forget that those type of things. Like
very
until you
grounding.
said that, it didn't ever connect in my head. Like, we're always trying or doing new things
All the time.
all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the only difference is that you're just trying something new that's, I guess, bigger or more meaningful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's the
weight of it.
meaningness. Yeah.
Yeah.
When something is real near and dear, you're real protective over it. You're nervous, even more so about not being able to like. You're nervous about it not being able to go quote well or go right because you love it so much, right?
Right.
But
You
that
think
could
it's-
also be the reason why you should go for it.
You think it's because you're putting it on a pedestal? So you have this idea and it's so high
Ooh, that's
Absolutely.
interesting.
that
Absolutely.
it's almost not obtainable. Like
Yeah.
you kind of psych yourself out.
You put it up there. We
Absolutely.
don't, we
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
that we put it up there.
I can do that to myself sometimes.
And
I
again,
can.
that's why I sort of am talking about that difference between values and goals, right? Because if you're chasing the goal, then yes, you can make up the goal to be whatever you think it should be, and it's made up, right? Because you don't know what the natural consequence or the outcome is going to be, right? So that's why I think like chase the value, what's important to you, will make you happy, and I believe. And then just let it be open to whatever the outcome is going to be, because
Yeah.
you don't know, but just trusting that it's going to be lit because it's going to be
'Cause
the
you
natural process of what's going to happen.
'Cause you
yeah.
lit.
So that's why it's better to chase values over goals. Yeah.
So,
A word.
Now
word.
that you are an entrepreneur, you are
Yes.
in this.
Yes, I have fully committed. Yeah.
What are some of like the struggles or just certain things you realize that are different from being at a 9 to 5 to not be a full-time entrepreneur that makes you know like, oh, this shit is real. Okay, I am a full-time entrepreneur.
The biggest thing, and the thing this is the biggest thing. So I have always wanted to be accessible. So when I accept insurance, I don't be always hounding people down for co-pays, right? Because I'm just, because I had a 9 to 5. I'm like, I kind of have some. So if this makes it more
There's
affordable to
empathy
somebody,
there,
then cool, right? Or I'm kind of like, if somebody's paying me out of pocket, I've always been like, hey, pay me when you can. I've never wanted therapy to feel like super money, even though, so that's been the hardest part. Therapy as a business, it is money, but I really want to help.
I really want to help.
But I don't want it to come across
I gotta
like,
live though.
that's a hard balance for me. Like I feel
Yeah.
kind of funny, like in the beginning of
live.
therapy, like, so do you have your Venmo right? Okay, let's get started. That's hard for me.
yeah.
You said you were crashing out.
Yeah, like, but before you get started, let me,
Before you crash out.
You know what I mean? So now that I'm in it now, that part I'm still struggling with, of like how much am I on top of this, hounding people down? But at this point, I'm not gonna be as laxed about it, right?
Yeah.
So I do struggle
the
with
business and the
I
the,
do struggle
craft,
with that.
the
And then if the
passion.
values were always like being, again, I wasn't chasing money anymore.
Right.
So that's been the hardest piece that I'm continuing to
Finding
sort
value
out,
in
like
value.
Yeah.
how I approach it, how I'm Remind the
You gotta be
folks,
stopped.
yeah.
Have
yeah,
you approached it
gotta
from
be
like a
stopped,
sliding
bro.
scale? Because I know when I go to acupuncture, he has like a sliding scale. Basically gives like a range, like this is the minimum, it's the maximum. So then you kind of just let
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Right,
Those are
and
doing that in
pay,
therapy,
like,
like,
yeah,
okay,
people do that.
crashing out,
Yeah.
you're mad at your spouse.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
tear.
Where are you
No,
on the
it's usually
thermometer
like,
to
What's
that?
spouse
if
package?
you want to pay from, 140 to 170, wherever you feel comfortable in that range, or, that's how people kind of do it. But yes, it's just, so people who pay me out of pocket, my price has not gone up since I started. So this is why I applied individually. The amount of work that I've done to try to make this accessible, right?
Yeah.
So I by myself applied to all these contracts, and it's not easy to do this stuff,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, so that's why I accept Cigna and Aetna and Blue Shield and Anthem, like that was a thing. So people with insurance can see me, So it's just, so anyway. So with that being said, I prefer that I get paid more money from an insurance company than
Than
asking people to pay more money out of pocket, right? So the out of pocket price has not gone up in the entire time I've done therapy. So I don't really do a sliding scale because talking about value, I think in the Bay I probably have the lowest hourly rate probably because
Debatable. We don't want to think debatable.
debatable.
We just,
Debatably, it's one of the
we gotta.
Okay, you know what?
friendlier rates.
Debatable. But
Debatable.
I've tried to keep it.
Understandable.
Yeah, friendly. Very
I've tried to keep it
Economic.
I've tried to keep it as
affordable.
as
Affordable.
I can. Because you know what it is? I had there's been periods when I've done like personal training, right? And I'm paying money for it, and I'm like, okay, I can do it. But whenever like a life thing happens financially, what happened was personal training was the first thing to go, right? Like I was like, I
Fuck
can't.
apps.
It literally just is what it is, right? Or I was kind of
Fuck these
recently getting
groups.
like these very expensive facials, right? And then when I quit my job, that was the first thing I canceled. I was
Same.
like, we are done
Same.
doing this, right? So I kind of wanted, so yes,
For now.
for now, right? But
But
I
I'm
did
going back.
want therapy to be like, if somebody's kind of going through something, they can still see me.
Yeah,
You know
still
what I mean?
come
Like,
to the
like it
same
don't
side.
have to be like this is just completely out of reach. And because of that, I've been able to have clients for a very long time.
Wonderful.
But yeah, that's the part where I struggle with. It's the money being accessible, but I'm full time now. Don't want it to feel like I'm hecka like. I struggle with that.
Let's stay right there then.
Yeah,
So
I struggle.
with that struggle, I just talked about you being Bay therapist
Yes.
because that's
Yeah.
just like he got the shea butter guy. You are a Bay therapist.
Shea
so
butter God.
having a following, having people who like myself who have approached you or DM'd you or talked to you, they and being that sometimes you do give away small tidbits of free information. How do you balance that where people may want to get a little more free information because they
Yes.
may, like I said, we live in California,
Right.
things are expensive. So how do you balance that? Do you say no? Do you how do you have those conversations?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So not much, but yes, there have been times where somebody's DMing me and telling me their entire life story and wanting like feedback, right?
Which is crazy.
It has happened.
That's
it has
nuts.
happened. I would just say people don't know the resources, right?
That's crazy.
Okay.
Like you don't know me, I don't know you, but here's my life story.
He's
Fix
saying
me.
that. I didn't
Just
say
a
that.
little
He ain't.
That's
I didn't,
crazy.
He didn't.
That's crazy for you to just
I'm side-eyeing
DM a
you.
person you don't
Just
know
a
your
little.
whole fucking background.
They said I didn't say that.
Like,
I didn't
No,
say
no, she didn't.
Definitely.
We did. Though.
1 and 2.
that. I'm just saying
You a nut ass boy.
that like people
Don't do that
don't
again.
always know where to get information, or you realize that people be hurt, and they see something that maybe feels safe, right? And they go for it, right? So to answer the question, no, I have not done therapy in a DM. I have not done that. So how I've handled that is I'm usually like, hey, I hear you, that sounds tough or whatever, and here are like resources or whatever that can maybe potentially help you, right? And mainly because, and I'm not trying to sound any way about it, I am in fact a professional, And when you go through to therapy, you are really literally protected under the law,
Yes,
right?
that's
and
true.
so, and social media is like new, so I don't really know how that works. If somebody is in my messages and telling me something kind of serious, and then
Yeah.
like, and this is not actually therapy or this, so just from a real life perspective, just legally is, I don't want to do it, and then just it's just inappropriate for me to be giving any more feedback in this way. So, yeah. So I understand how it's happened, but I hear it, I see it, and then I try to give resources or
It's
tips
a
or
respectful
whatever.
set of a boundary.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
not
not.
like a-
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. It's literally inappropriate for me to ask more questions or get.
Yeah.
All right, so having all that, having these things happen to you, and again, growing your own business and quitting your 9 to 5, and growing all these platforms and walking in your purpose. It's a lot to do. It's a lot of you pouring into others. How
Yes.
do you pour back into yourself? How
How
do
you refill your cup.
Yeah, how do you self-care for you? Because I've seen what social workers go through. To me, it's basically what therapists go through in a lot of ways. Seeing so much, and then you
I have one on my squad. On
You know
my
what I mean?
team,
You
yeah,
so
which
much
comes in
energy, so much
handy.
shit you gotta like hear, and you have to keep out of you can't get attached to it. So how do you like show up for yourself? What are things you do as an entrepreneur, and as a therapist to help keep you sane and balanced?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So, I always think about what I would tell my clients, right? So I try to take my own advice, right? So that's, making sure I
I
get
suck at that.
up, take walks, drink water, just kind of just take care of my body, right? And then I will say, as a therapist, everything is mental health. Everything. So like even when you're with your friends, you listen to mental health. You're with your family, like you literally can't escape mental health. Like so again, if you an accountant, at some point you can stop looking at numbers, right? If you mental health, I could be watching a movie and it's like all about mental health. So one thing that I do, and I'm
Shout out to Inside
also
Out.
kind of embarrassed about this, but I do need some activities where like nothing about this is mental health. Like
shoot
there's
dice.
just I actually do something heck old. It's like a
You
really
play spades.
no. Well, I should do like
Mancala
spades.
or something. You need.
No, I watch.
Golden Girls.
I watch every night. I watch Family Feud.
Oh, you're lit though.
How good are you?
Really? I'm actually pretty good.
Hold on, we need a moment. How good are you?
I'm pretty good.
Me
Like
in this one?
yeah. Okay, I
We'll
feel
shut down the
better.
room.
Okay, I feel
Diabolical.
better. Y'all can't really see me in like the lightning round. Like I would be lit. Yeah.
She don't know about when I
Like I'm the lightning.
She don't.
No,
Oh, no.
no.
She
Oh,
don't-
you saying?
Oh,
Oh, no.
no.
Okay.
Long story short, me and her was on a team against like 4 people? What was it? How
No,
many
it
had?
was like 6 of them.
6 people.
And y'all were watching like Family Feud together?
No, we played the game.
played it.
We played the game.
Oh, okay.
And it
How
was
y'all
like
play the
game
game?
night.
It was like it's like a card.
Oh, like
game
a- oh, I
version.
got
Yeah,
you.
it's
it
card
was
has
dope.
answers.
Oh,
on
I
it.
got you.
And so, just me and her versus 6 people, and we smoked the room. And then they did the lightning round, and she
got
went
us lit?
upstairs, and I got the whole 200.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't
good.
even like. I was
She came
real
down like,
pissed,
"Well, it's
actually.
over. It's over." Like
I was very upset. Like,
she's
I was
upset.
very
She wanted.
upset.
She wanted to get her little jabs in, but
I was
I
very
knocked it
upset.
out.
He knocked it out of the park.
Okay, so you good. Okay, all right, well then, I appreciate the 2 things I was embarrassed about.
Nah,
y'all
this
really
is the right-
embraced
this is
me.
the right
I
space.
appreciate
What?
that. Yeah.
Whenever it's time for some family feud work in.
This is the tribe.
Yeah.
So y'all
Yeah.
heard it here first. If it's us 3 versus y'all, it's bad.
Oh.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Smoking
No,
boots.
I'm sorry.
Like,
Smoking
yeah,
boots.
my
It's bad.
Family Feud game is pretty tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we lit.
Do you find yourself getting mad when you see?
See, like what they should
how
have
you
to
just-
answer, like how you didn't have that
Oh
answer.
my gosh.
Champagne.
For real.
Yeah, like come
For
on,
real.
like this is silly.
For real.
The one thing that is kind of unfair about Family Feud, and I do be feeling for some families. So some lightning rounds, there can really only be like 2 or 3 answers, right? So it's like a time that the family, like what holiday do families get together? It's going to either be Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that, right? But there'll be some question that can be freaking anything. It's like
It could be anything.
Like name
and it's 5
something
random.
that expands or something. I'll be like, I don't know. Like that's
A
crazy. Like
A stomach.
it could be
Belt line.
anything. You know what I mean?
Inflatable.
So sometimes in Family Feud, I'd be like, that question was just unfair. You know what I
Inflatable.
mean?
It's
I forgot.
okay. So
That's just unfair. But
how long you been in the family feud? Now I want to have a long one.
that's funny. I mean,
Like how? When I say that,
well, so my love for
how
Family
many hosts you go back?
Well, I remember going, when I was younger watching Family Feud, but like since doing this private practice thing the last 6 years, I've for sure
Oh,
been.
Steve. Yeah.
Oh, I love Steve Harvey. I think he's a great
would be
host
me.
of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's hilarious. So I think Steve Harvey did.
He found his thing.
Bro, I love Steve has super
That's a
black
staple.
moments. Nah, pull it back.
I actually love when he has like his super black
Yeah,
moments.
yeah, oh, yeah, pull that
And
back,
I
Steve,
actually,
pull
have
that
you ever
back.
seen when he like educates the audience? He'd be like, so somebody might have like a black ass answer, right? Or, like the answer would be like
Wretched around.
right,
Or
right,
something-
right. Some heck of
something
like
something.
or somebody like where family gets together. Somebody like the barbershop.
The barbershop.
And then and Steve will at times like look at the audience. He's like, okay, everybody, just so you know, that answer ain't on the board.
But
But
they-
that's the
culturally,
answer.
that was a really good
Man,
answer.
That's
Like that
the
was a
answer.
really good
He's
answer.
educating the children.
But like it ain't on the board. And they're like,
Yeah.
you know, like so he'd be like, it ain't on the board.
Like, what does it
but,
mean
like,
when your
yeah.
grandmama say she dreaming of fishes? What that mean?
Yeah, so I love when it's like a black ass answer.
It's a
and
black
Steve
ass answer.
Be like,
My favorite part is when the women flirt with him.
Yeah.
I can see that little like, ooh.
yeah, he do
Mary-
that. He do that.
Hi, baby. You gotta like,
Or,
you gotta like pull back.
it's
He
the
do that.
opposite,
Oh,
where
yeah, they
he's
try
like
to-
repulsed by the
Yeah.
person. Like,
Yeah, like please don't. Yeah.
I'm a fan of that one because that
Yeah.
one's just a little bit more funny because he
Yeah.
still has to be a good host.
Right,
So
right, right.
He has to navigate like not wanting to talk to this person,
Right.
being very uncomfortable, but still being comedic
Him trying to
and
Right,
awesome.
avoid saying the N word be having me dying. Because certain answers they'll give just be so dumb. He look like, I know it's mine. Yeah.
Nigga, it's definitely up there.
Right,
It's
right.
up
You
there.
can see it in his eyes.
It's up
'Cause you know
there.
why? Because you're at home saying,
Right. Well, actually, and I
Yeah.
love when Steve roasts somebody who don't never had the answers.
Oh,
He'd be
same.
like, this is the third night. You got to get an answer. Like, you can't.
Again? Again?
Yeah, he
All
be
right,
roasting
Lisa,
people,
let's try this
like,
again.
all right, Lisa, you can do it. Okay, all right.
name something.
Right.
Your ass ain't named
Lisa?
nothing.
No,
Lisa.
Steve Harvey's a great host.
Yeah.
So,
He's a great host.
high tech. I watch Family Feud every night, literally. Like, I'd be like on the remote Game Show Network. Yeah, you know.
Yes.
And,
Okay,
yeah, I watch the
okay.
Game Show Network. Yeah,
I'm the same way. I like brain games.
I was gonna say, what about the
Yeah.
fellas?
I
Like, do you guys
love-
have like a self-soothe or something that you guys do to like honor like a little disconnect from the world when you're overwhelmed?
Oh.
I think it's important for our fellas to speak on this matter
You
too.
want to go? Because mine is completely unhealthy.
Oh,
Go ahead.
completely unhealthy though.
Oh no.
Listen, y'all ask me questions, and I'm like, y'all sure y'all want to do this with mics around?
That is funny.
Because I'm honest. No, I don't do anything crazy. Libations and like,
That's not
what
crazy.
else I do? I watch wrestling or
Yeah.
what else? Oh, I have this. I play Uno on my iPad, like online,
Okay.
and like I get mad disrespectful. It's hard to be respectful on Uno online, but I
God.
find a way. Because they have this thing where you even like throw eggs or pillows or cakes at people.
Oh gosh, I can imagine you
Everybody
acting a
catching
fool.
eggs. Bah, bah,
I
bah,
can
bah.
imagine.
That's
What?
funny.
I
I'm
can
having
imagine.
so much fun. And you can put little like comments. Because some of you play teams, and somebody like go.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, hey,
Don't
tell me to
rush
fucking
me.
Go, bro. Matter of fact, change color, bitch. I'm going green. Your shit all red. I'm gonna go green. Now, how about that?
I feel it.
How
The
about
fact that people count Uno cards like they know
Now
how to count
Eduardo,
dominoes is
yeah.
crazy
That
work.
is funny. That
Bruh.
is
It's crazy work.
you really be on there like I promise you, like you'll go head up in like a good Uno game and like it be serious. Like y'all be really like draw 4, got your bitch, especially the ones that stacks. And they be like, oh, draw 8. You like if he come back next to me with a draw 4 and I get a draw 16,
That's out of pocket.
it's raining eggs on this nigga. It's raining eggs on him.
That's
Like,
out of pocket.
I'm just gonna my whole turn just eggs.
That's out of
Eggs.
pocket.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs. Yeah, I'll be on
That's
there.
out of pocket.
I'll be on there trifling. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I mean, it sounds lit.
Hey,
It's fun.
It sounds
Especially-
no
especially off
harm was
libations.
done.
Yeah, it sounds
Oh,
fun.
you zone out.
No harm was
fun.
done. No one was harmed in
Special
the
libation
making
like,
of this.
yeah.
Libation zone out. What about you?
Yeah,
Yes?
what about
I
you,
go to
Shea
sleep, man.
Buttergall?
Go to sleep.
Y'all do some healthy shit.
Nah,
bro.
it ain't. Man, I turn the
sleep.
TV on. I just
I sleep at a proper hour.
no, that's what I don't do.
I was gonna say because you look like
thought he meant more like
you look
nap,
you
like
go
you'll
to
take a
sleep
nap.
at
No,
night.
I
That nigga like
Yeah, like
think about like a good 2-3 naps a day.
Yeah, he looks like a napper.
Oh, good nap.
He looks like a
I'm-
napper.
I can sleep anywhere, like anywhere.
I can-
I can just.
like just.
So I meditate, and then I'll just sometimes.
That's what
One
it
of the
was.
coolest shit that I will say
That's what it
recently
was.
is I've gotten to a point in meditation where it's like I'm asleep, but I'm conscious.
Look at you.
Oh yeah.
It's like I can feel that, but it's really hard to stay in that because then it's like
My uncle
become
used to do
aware. It's like you're aware, and then it kind of like breaks
Wakes
you
you
out
up.
of the
Listen.
out of it.
Yeah.
But if you let it go too much, it's like you got to be on a perfect line, because just this, you sleep.
No, on folks. Like he's no cap. There's a few, but there's a meditation that you can do. It's about 20 minutes. But if you're actually, like he said, if you're actually focused and you're locked in, you're gonna feel like you took a nap for like 4 hours. The
Oh,
way
yeah.
your body feels afterwards is insane. It's really cool.
My uncle used to do that.
It's
He's been
really
sober for about 10 years now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I fuck with
I've been
that.
sober for about 2.
The shea butter God has spoken.
Look at you.
Being that you are, like I said, we established everything that you are as an entrepreneur, and I keep bringing up Bay Therapist because even though you are a therapist, you're a creative because you started a platform.
Right.
Based out of love and curiosity for
Yes.
her community. I'm not letting that go.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
man.
That's so awesome.
It's not the people we love.
That's
Like,
beautiful.
yeah. So being like doing that and being a creative in those things, and having people commenting and DM, etc. What comes to my mind is like imposter syndrome.
Right.
I know for myself, speaking myself as a creative, I suffer from that.
Same.
Probably the most, as most of us.
Oh
and
my
people who are
gosh.
going to be watching, listen to this.
Right.
Imposter syndrome is.
We've been yelled at for like, people are like, when people tend to be like, I know you can, bro, why you not doing, you know you can be. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
nah, I'm
Right.
not, nah, you just saying that because you're my friend.
Right.
You just saying that because, Meanwhile, dead ass.
Yeah.
It's tough though because you really don't.
It is.
But again, coming back to what we were talking about earlier about value and shit and stuff like that, it's just like you really don't. You're within your skin.
Yes.
And also you know who you are behind closed doors.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of times when you step outside and people see you like me coming to you, just like, yo, all these things, and it's like, oh damn,
Yep.
It's still funny that you were a little drunk.
I was touched when we were talking. I was like,
oh,
Oh,
swing.
man, I was really, oh my
no,
God.
I was doing just, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but yeah.
I was touched. I was
Sips
touched.
alcohol. That's so
I was
amazing.
so.
That was
Sips alcohol.
And I feel like you let us cut
Yeah.
in line too. So that's what was happening. It was like the line crybaby. It was hecka long, and me and my friends were about to leave.
Hey, I
And then he
was
stopped me,
trying
and then he had this whole moment with me on the court. I was like, oh my God. It
And
was
then
so
you
nice.
tried to
And
cut the
then-
line.
And then he was like, oh, and then he kind of just like got us in the front. I was
That
like,
makes sense.
He the, you feel
That's
me?
that's
I
Oh,
was
he the plug.
like,
that's definitely
Yeah,
Kodak.
no, that's.
Go best friend.
That's definitely
You know what I'm
Kodak.
saying? Yeah. So
For
like,
sure.
I got the compliments and I got to the friend. I
Yep.
was like, yeah,
That my friend.
like that's why he, like in my head, I was like,
that's my friend.
yeah, nah, for sure.
He don't know it yet, but we besties.
No,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
like
He'll
I
know we
always
besties.
had like heck of love after that. I
Right.
was like,
Look at my bestie.
yeah,
Oh, bestie.
yeah. So we didn't have to leave. We actually got it in. I was like,
See, but touching the community. People
That
gotta
literally
give you
it happened
flowers
by
back.
me.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. I feel supported by the community.
No
You
diddy.
feel me? When I. Yeah.
start, because you know I'll go with you. You know I'll go with you.
Set me up. I'm
You know
sorry.
I'll go with you. We're trying to be professional.
We are. That was professionally awesome.
Professionally awesome.
See, this is why we ain't gonna never be allowed in certain rooms. 'Cause we-
You might not want to go in those rooms.
Listen, hey,
hey.
'cause they got never mind. See,
Have some thick
stop,
skin.
Stop. I'm gonna go
Not
there.
that kind,
Stop.
though.
I'm trying to be the person my mother is. Anyway,
Okay.
having imposter syndrome, like,
Oh man.
is a real thing. Do you find moments of you having imposter syndrome?
Yes. And because I'm a therapist and I talk to people about imposter syndrome all the time.
What's the clinical
dang.
definition of that? I've never.
I mean, that is a great question. So imposter syndrome is really just this idea that you don't think you have the ability or you are not qualified despite the evidence that says like you do okay or you're good or you do deserve to have the thing or whatever, right? So that's really what it is. It's like you don't think you deserve it or you're not qualified despite evidence. And so I know we've been talking about myself as an entrepreneur, but I also do therapy with a lot of people who are entrepreneurs and as I mentioned, a lot of students, right? So this idea of imposter syndrome comes up all the time. And so this is why I think it happens. So do I go through it? Yes. But I understand it. So I think that's what helps me like get through it or whatever. So really what it is as we mentioned, when you're doing something new, you're going to have feelings where you feel confused, lost, frustrated that you don't get the thing or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So, but what we do is we take that feeling and then we abstract some story out of it, and that story is not true, right? So at the end of the day, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're whatever it is, but then we create a story around that feeling, which is like, I'm not good enough, I'm bad, I'm not qualified,
getting it,
I
I'm
shouldn't
not.
do it, I shouldn't, right? And so I'll tell you a story recently. So this is about a student, right? So the student, and we just started, right? But she's basically explaining to me how in her program, she feels like she's not qualified, and this makes her really depressed, right? And so I'm just asking her, well, can you just kind of just tell me about the program. Just tell me all about it, right? And basically what she's explaining to me was like, the higher you go in education, so like when you're PhD programs, it's actually less structured than like when you're like in undergrad and grad school, because it's kind of free flowing. It's kind of on you to do your own research and whatever it is, right? So she was like, so I don't get the guidance that I need, and I just feel lost all the time, right? And so the problem isn't that she's not qualified. The problem is she don't know how to navigate a free-flowing program. That's the problem, right? So if people don't remember anything else from this conversation, right, it's you are not the problem is the problem, right? So she's not the problem is the problem. So the problem is not her. The problem is how do you navigate a program that's not whatever. So for me, so the question was me and my being a new entrepreneur, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I don't know. So I've always been what's called sole proprietor. I got to change myself to an S corp. I don't know what the hell none of that means, right? I just got this lawyer to help me. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means, but I know I'll learn it, right? And so yes, then I go to this. I don't know anything about business. I don't know why I'm doing this. But again, I'm just having a feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just having a feeling. So then just kind of learning to recognize, Sharon, you just having a feeling. You frustrated, and that's cool.
fine, right?
And it
And
is
that's
what
fine,
it is.
yeah.
The problem is not me. The problem is I've never done this before. I have to navigate it. I have to learn it, right? So yeah. So yes, do I go through it? Yes, but I think I've done a lot of practice in understanding it, and that's the advice to everybody out here that's doing anything new or being an entrepreneur or whatever it is. The problem is the problem. You're learning how to run a business. That's the problem. And that you have to navigate and learn, and you will eventually learn it. You will. So
Yeah.
So not internalize it as much as it is you recognize that it's there, it exists,
it exists, absolutely.
and it's the circumstance.
Yes,
it's there.
and you said the perfect word is internalize, right? So another kind of tip out there is like, so if you say something like, I feel depressed today. And if you keep saying, I feel depressed, you kind of start shrinking. It's like, I feel depressed, I'm shrinking, right? Or I'm anxious, and you're like, I'm anxious, right? You know? So what's actually better is to sort of externalize the emotion, right? So it's like, okay, anxiety, you here. Okay, what's up? You want me to do something. Because anxiety wants
People
you to do
think
something,
I'm crazy
right?
when I do that.
So when you actually kind of talk to your emotions and like really have a conversation about it, it actually helps with the really remembering that the problem is the problem and you are not the problem. So I really do talk to my emotions like a third party. Like, all right, anxiety, you nervous right now. I get it. We doing something
She
new.
acting up today.
You know what I mean? But like,
okay.
we gonna figure it out, like whatever, right? But that's really how I kind of deal with imposter syndrome. Is like really externalizing it and correctly identifying what's the actual problem. Yeah, in short.
That's correct.
That's super
kinda
important.
dope.
Yeah,
Just to
especially
treat
for a lot of
your,
creatives.
like different things. Yeah, I think I might treat mine like just like roommates.
Yeah.
Like depression, my nigga. Hey, bro. Oh, never. We ain't got time for that.
No, seriously. I use the
Right.
language.
Yeah,
Take your sad ass in the room, bro.
Well, even depression. So like, this is a true. So, okay, y'all gonna know the inner workings, right? So, when my depression hit, I really imagine it is like. I call it the depression monster, but I feel like I can see it. It looked like a little Pac-Man monster. I don't know why. It's just like a little Pac-Man thing. I don't know why. But so when I see depression, I'm like, you here. So then I have to sort of being like, so what makes depression bigger and how do I get it smaller, right? So like, so if I sit in a dark room, I'm not talking to nobody, I'm isolating, I'm not eating, I'm not taking care of myself, I can kind of envision my depression monster getting bigger. So I have to be like,
I'm very
Sharon,
much
you
in
gotta
tune with
like
that, yeah.
make that small, right?
Yeah.
So then when I like eat a good meal or I listen to my feel good, like I have my little feel good like playlist on Spotify or whatever it is, I literally envision like depression getting smaller, and then when it's like gone, I'll be like, until next time, bitch. Like until next time.
you
You know what I'm
thought.
saying?
That was a
But
good way to
that's
chill it
better
out.
Join
than
me
like
again.
shaming myself of the mood that I'm having that day, which is like, I'm depressed. Why am I always depressed? And then we shame ourselves
Yeah.
for the emotion,
I was gonna say
right?
the word you
Shame,
use the
right?
word.
So it's like,
It's the word.
it's nah, I feel depressed. Why am I like that? We just gonna have emotions. Emotions are messengers. They come, and we just, again, it's just kind of paying attention to what they're telling us, you
Yeah.
know? But again, that's why I keep saying, like, the problem is the problem, and really depression is probably telling you to change something. Like something is not working for you, right? So like depression tells you kind of what's going on, right? It's kind of telling you to pay attention to something. If you're anxious, anxiety is nothing but a big old question mark. So then it's like, because you're uncertain about something, or you're nervous about something, or whatever it is. So anxiety is like, what's this question mark I'm worried about right now?
What
What is,
if?
you know, whatever. And sometimes with anxiety, we make it up. It ain't even true. So sometimes we got to warn ourselves about that. So anyways, I can go on about this, but it's
Right.
really like
Booker.
externalizing an emotion.
Yeah.
Is very helpful versus internalizing
Yeah.
it, and then you think you are the problem for having this feeling.
Yeah.
Right. So.
I want to like throw a little random tidbit out there. This is something that I practice myself. And it's also something I practice with my students because with little kids in particular, they're very, very interactive kids. You know, they're very interactive creatures. Colors, sounds, shapes, these things that stimulate the senses a lot of times kind of help them learn how to identify what they're feeling. Most of the time when kiddos are like, acting out, or maybe they're, you know, throwing a tantrum, or they're shutting down and they're not talking to anybody, or they're going out of their way to cause disruption, it's because they're attention seeking. They need somebody to check in with them for some reason, right? And that's fine. But what'll happen is when you bring the kiddo in there to check in with them on that one-on-one, we'll go ahead and there'll be paper, and there's like colored crayons, there's markers, there might be finger paint, you know, there's sensory paint where it's like foamy. So there's different things where they can express the emotion
Right.
and externalize it this way.
Right.
So by the time, after maybe 20 minutes of them playing with this sensory paint, but I'm chopping it up with them, by the end of it, it's like, oh my God, look at this picture I made.
Right.
Miss Shamari, oh my gosh. And mind you, the whole time, they
Right.
were just learning how to talk about their feelings.
Right.
So then the next time a situation like that happens, you can bring that child back to that moment where it's like, hey, do you remember that exercise we did when we went with the puffy paint? Do you remember how you were able to figure that out?
Yeah.
What if we practice that right now? And they go back to that.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say that even the things that we want for our youth to model and to carry
Right.
into life with them, I think it's important that we as adults model that for them. I don't think, like you said, shaming certain things and certain processes does us any good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, some of the more simpler, more attainable, accessible things are a lot of the
I mean,
healers.
in reality, Maya Angelou got a quote. It's kind of like, we don't grow up, we just get older, right?
Yes.
You know,
I
and
was
so like,
that was the question on my
It's
mind.
that.
and we kind of just ain't nothing but big old kids.
It's that.
We really are, and I think, and I really mean that. And so like, I think the more we can sort of understand that, that like we have that same stuff, we have the same emotions, we have the same things, we just got older. That's all it was. And so, yeah, just be mindful of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think, you know, it's
We get
funny.
temper tantrums and all that
We
stuff.
sure
too.
do. We sure
It's just
do.
more dangerous when we do it, you know, as adults, right? But we
Yeah,
nothing but big old
because
kids.
we have keys and alcohol.
We ain't got nothing. We ain't nothing but big old kids.
And knives.
Yeah, you know, it's funny.
And
this
just
is a
weapons in general.
Random wisdom. I don't know where he got this from, but Katino Mobley is like an old NBA player, and I remember I saw an interview and he said that like we are nothing but adults, and I mean we're nothing but kids in like grown bodies playing adults.
Absolutely.
I've always loved that perspective.
Yeah, it's
I've
true.
always loved that perspective.
It's true.
Like I didn't realize that because you don't realize some things that like follow you.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, just not having that, you know, again, even though going to psychology, Freudism, and all that stuff, but like, it doesn't really resonate. I was actually having a conversation with one of my best friends today, and I was telling her like how, like, you know, adults complain about being adults,
Yeah.
like kids complain about being kids.
0 out of
so-
5 stars.
Right.
Zero.
Would
Zero.
not recommend.
On my money back. I didn't.
Zero.
0 out of 5.
This came in the wrong size. Send this back.
This is not what I ordered.
This is not what I ordered.
And
Not
I would
what
like to
ordered at
speak
all.
to. I would like to speak to a manager.
Take
I
this-
speak
take
to him.
Take it back. Yeah.
all the time.
To a simpler time.
Yeah.
This Timu ass
I
lifestyle.
don't
I
like
feel it.
this.
I feel it.
I don't like this. This BBL
Not this.
adulthood is insane.
I feel it. Yeah.
But like
insane.
being that, like, so like when you was talking about that, just the chill thing, it's true though. Like I know for me sometimes I would find myself like shaming or what,
Yeah.
because like I have like high function anxiety, so it's like I didn't know what that was for a long time. You know, she helped me. She don't. I don't know if I ever told her how, but she did help me. Help me get the steps to figure these things out. So you know what I mean. Tap in with her. Tell me she's good.
Book her.
Good. She's good. But yeah, it's
Non-shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Thank you.
I am a product of just having a conversation with her.
Book
So
sis.
imagine if she's your therapist. But yeah, it's just it's a thing of like I didn't know how to embrace or understand it. So to hear you talk about how you literally like almost make them like people or make them like, you know what I mean, to talk to, you know, the things that, you know, are going on with you is very eye-opening to me because being someone that has imposter syndrome and, you know, they know, we talk about it. They be like, don't be telling you what you do down, don't do that. And I was like, listen, man, I'm just a pole color man.
Yeah. But again, go back. So just even doing this as an example, right? So like you talk about how high functioning anxiety and whatever it is, right? So, but think about little kids. They make something and what do? Mommy, Daddy, look what I did. Look what I did. Teachers,
Yeah.
look at me, right? So again, we're talking about being like entrepreneurs or creatives. It's the same thing. We're just like, we create this and we're like, look what I did,
what I
everybody.
did.
Look what I did. Look what I did, right? And kind of
they're
looking
so
for
excited about it.
You know what I mean? So it's like, so the high functioning kind of like expectation is because it's vulnerable and you want somebody to see it or appreciate it. And I think
It matters. Those
and then-
value.
and then we get older and then you have an emotional moment and it's like grow up or get older or whatever
Yeah.
it is. And I do think one of the worst things that we have done to one another is, and I mean as adults,
Yes.
is act like you grow up and then you don't have emotions anymore. That
Or
is
they're
like,
just automatically way easier to control.
yeah, no, like emotions are emotions. And I mean, yes, there are some adult expectations of how you handle these emotions,
Naturally.
but emotions are what they are, right? And really like there's no action that is done without a behavior behind it. I'm sorry, an emotion behind it. No action is on accident, right?
sure.
So then when you have all these adults who think I'm just being logical and I just make all these decisions and nothing emotional is behind it, that's a lie. That's not true. And I'm afraid of a whole bunch of adults who are not aware of what emotional
That's more
whatever
dangerous.
that drives their behavior.
That's more dangerous.
That makes me nervous that people are not aware of it, right? So if I have any friend or any man or whoever in my life that doesn't acknowledge the emotional thing that made them do a thing, I can't even deal with it because that to me that's dangerous.
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
agree.
I've recently like
And it's
randomly I was on
non-gender
Instagram
or race based.
and
That's overall.
I downloaded one of those apps to stop scrolling, instead do like some micro learning, and I was like, okay, that's productive.
Micro learning.
And it caught my eye because that's what I was doing at
Like,
work.
you never just randomly learned off Instagram.
No. So what I would, before I even found this, the reason why it caught my attention was because what I did was I got a book, and instead of looking at the phone, I would read until I just got to that point where it's like I'm reading, but I'm not comprehending, and that's how I would take
Reading
myself.
on autopilot, kind
But yeah, so it's like I'd read, and in that moment, then I'd stop, and then I'd get back to work, right? Instead of looking at my phone, I figured, all right, let me just do something productive, right?
Right.
Didn't always last the longest. Found myself scrolling at work, came across this app. Download the app, start partaking in the little lessons. Then I found this book. Like, it was mentioning this book. So I'm the type of person that when I'm reading something, if they mention a book, I'm like, okay, I want to go see further on that.
Same.
And it's a book, I have it in my backpack, but it's actually about labeling your emotions and how a question that most adults when asked is, can you name your emotions? What emotions
Right.
they typically can name 3:
Right.
happy, sad, and angry.
Right.
But there's so many more. So what you're talking about, like with adults, I don't think a lot of adults actually know the emotions and what they are.
I agree.
That's why I ended
agree.
up going the communicative route instead of psychology. I wanted to learn the language
Yeah.
behind it. I wanted to be able to listen to the conversations, watch the body language, watch the way a person interacts
Right.
with their environment, and
Yeah.
see like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah. But see, I think because there's a reason for it, though, I believe, right? Why we don't
agree.
associate an emotion to things, right? So one story that I shared about myself on Instagram, right, was, because to your point, we don't know, but I think there's reasons why. So just
yeah.
a personal example, and I did share it on Instagram, but something was happening for a friend of mine, and I was jealous. I was jealous. I mean, just when it really just come down to it, right? And I was jealous. And so what happened was, another friend of mine was telling me this good thing was happening to this friend. So, but my friend didn't directly tell me this, right? So, anyways, so later on, that friend, this good thing is happening for, she was calling me that weekend, right? And I know that's all she want to talk about, right? But this is when I was like, every weekend I'm writing my book and I'm busy, right? So what ended up happening was she's calling me, and I'm like, now I'm irritated. Why is she calling me? She know I write my book every weekend. Now this becomes this whole big old story, right? Now it's like nobody cared that I got dreams. Nobody paying attention to what I be telling her. She know I work, and she just think I got time to listen to her. And I'm really believing that this is why I'm upset. Like we do that all the time. We have some narrative or some story about why we did what we did. So I'm legitimately like, she ain't considerate, she ain't thinking about me, she ain't being supportive, and I'm going some days thinking like that, right? And I don't know what made me come to this conclusion, but I guess I was having a Jesus moment or whatever it was, but I was like, and I said it out loud. I was like, Sharon, you're jealous. You jealous. You are jealous. And as soon as I said that out loud, it was like it kind of went away. Also, like, then I felt real guilty because I love and I say friend, but this is like my sister. I die for her. Like, I mean, I real life get in front of train for this woman,
That's
right?
gang,
Like,
yeah.
Mandatory bread.
like I love her and I want the best
Ace.
for her in life. So I would never want her to not be happy or have the things that she wanted. It was just I just didn't have it, whatever, right? And so when I just said I'm jealous, I felt so bad. Then I started being like, I'm not a good friend. I'm being a hater. Why am I, blah, 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 right? So, but by being, and this is why I say I think it's good to identify it, because then you have a choice. Well, I felt like I had a choice. So, okay, so jealousy, that's a real thing. So Sharon, you can continue to lean into this jealousy, or you can continue to like lean into this love. And just being honest about what that was, right? But if I wasn't honest that I was jealous, then this story would have just been about how she inconsiderate and wasn't thinking about me. You know what I mean? So I think that's why it's hard to like be honest about an emotion, because it hurts to be like, this is honestly how I feel, like, so I felt really bad, afterwards. But then I was like, then I had to kind of forgive myself, like, Sharon, jealousy is emotion, people have it, but that don't change my love for her or how I'm supportive of her. And again, and then if I'm not being honest with myself, I don't never want to be no hating ass friend, right?
Yeah.
And so by me being honest, then I can check that.
You were
I
able to
can-
refer back to your values.
I can check that. Look at,
Oh no, I'm following. I'm following.
see how you did that?
I'm following.
She thinks she's so cool. What are three?
I do.
What are three? Since we're talking about that, what are three emotions that most people, or especially adults, ignore that they maybe experience often?
Yeah. I think jealousy is one of them. I think anger is misunderstood.
Okay.
I think anger is misunderstood. So anger, I have like a little picture of it. It's like a little illustration. So it's like, it's the ocean. Anger is like, it's the iceberg. Anger is the tip of the iceberg, but underneath
I have that.
right? Underneath the water is like all these emotions, like disappointment.
Oh my God.
Feeling like whatever, right? So I think anger isn't, it's popular that because it's the most misunderstood. Because people are like, I'm just mad, but they don't they're not going down to the core of what's causing that anger, right? So anger is a big one though. It's for men. I'm getting on the men real quick. Very popular. Men do not acknowledge any sort of like being scared. That's like a big one.
Oh, we can have that conversation. Man. You ready?
And I get corrected every single time. Men correct me.
I'm not scared. It's just
Men correct me. So I'll never forget this one man. He had every reason to be scared about something, and I was like, I understand you're scared. He's like, I'm not scared, and I was like, concerned. Yeah, all right, concerned. I'm like, all right, sure, like whatever, right? You know, so men, any kind of like nervous, scared, you know, whatever, men don't like to acknowledge that.
It's tough.
That is very popular.
It's very
common.
tough.
I should say common.
Well, BS, do you acknowledge when you're scared?
No.
No.
Men.
None of us are raised. Most men were not raised to even understand what that is. Understand what fear
that's a
is.
certain level of vulnerability
whoa,
that men were
exactly.
trained not to have access
It's
to.
just that word is always attached to it. But most men associate fear with vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
And the thing is, men get scared. Men get scared, and
For sure.
so even when I was like working on my book, and I had interviewed all these men, that is actually kind of what came across, right? Like, so all the men were like, especially because a lot of them came from the town, came from Oakland, right? So a lot of them was like, they knew they can't come across as being scared or whatever, right? And so, but some of them said it. Like, let's say it was about to be a fight or whatever. Every man said, I didn't want to do this, right? Like they
I ain't gonna lie, I was ooh.
see, but a lot of men was like, I don't want to actually do this, right? So
Yeah.
I think a lot of men end up being in scenarios where they like, I don't actually want to do this, but this is the expectation, right?
Right. Which
So yeah, but
sucks.
yeah, scared so again,
sucks.
for men who listen, maybe you like fear better or concerned or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's a little more.
yeah. So
like-
I've with men, I've had to like learn to use different words that they resonate with.
I probably
or
don't heard
whatever.
one man I know for sure that used the word scared before, ever
Yeah.
telling a story. Like, he was just like, yeah, I was about to, but it was in a moment where it was a fight.
He probably
So-
should have been scared. Probably.
Oh, he was he should have been. He was surrounded by a bunch of people who wanted to whoop his ass.
Yeah, sure.
And so he was in this moment, but it was just like, that's the first time I ever heard a man like use that term, but with confidence. It's just like I ain't, well, I was hella scared, but shit, I got off on him, bro, right?
It is what it is.
I would say
But I like that you used the word confident. I have a story
Yeah.
about that later, but go ahead.
no. I was gonna say that there was a moment where when a man has the ability or the comfort level or confidence level to experience and be comfortable in him being scared or fearful, I'm not gonna lie, like as a woman sometimes, especially with one who didn't get to have my dad around, that was one of the most empowering things, right? Because you understand, some of us as women do understand that there is a very deep level of vulnerability that's attached to that word. And naturally for guys, you guys don't have the access to be vulnerable, even though you should, because vulnerability obviously is a strength.
It's a luxury.
When cultured and cultivated the correct way.
Taught that, yeah.
But I would say there was a time where I was like, I wasn't wilding out, but I always wanted to be outside with my friends. I wasn't doing nothing bad. Like I wasn't robbing people. I wasn't jumping people. But I just wanted to be outside with my friends because I was very sheltered as a kid in terms of like my mom being very, very like, because it was just her.
Right.
So she was even more overly protective and even more like, oh, no, don't go anywhere.
Right.
And there was a time where I was out hecka late and she had called my grandfather. And this man is a Purple Heart Vietnam vet who went through PTSD, still has like limps due to injury.
Right.
And it didn't really hit me what I was doing until he said, like, I'm thinking everybody was yelling at me because they were just, like you said, upset. I thought everybody was just mad. And he was like, Shamari, wasn't nobody mad. We were scared. What are you talking about? We didn't know where you were. That's terrifying. What if something was to happen to you? What if we couldn't get to you? What if we couldn't reach you? But I heard what he said after that, but I was more so taken aback, like, what?
That was actually a beautiful story. Yeah.
Like, for real? Like, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
And so from that point, it allowed for me to be able to understand how when people show you love and people show that they care about you, it does sometimes, it shows itself in that ability to be vulnerable.
Right.
Because I was like, what? For real?
And again, what comes across as anger,
Right.
there's some, that's why I was like, that's a beautiful story, because it's like, why are you tripping? Why are you angry? And it's
Yeah.
like, he was able to identify, I'm scared.
I was scared. I didn't know where you was, Shamari.
absolutely.
I was like,
Yeah.
It's tough though. Like I know a lot of my homies won't
I love my grandpa.
Yeah, that's a
tell
beautiful story.
anyone they're scared or have any real emotions unless it's like their girl or like it's usually a woman. It's never a man. I don't really know. I don't know if I recall any of my homies look at me like, bro, I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right.
Like that word doesn't trickle out. But you'll see. But like it's either a mom. Like I'm not a crier at all. I don't really cry a lot. The only time I cry is like death.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only time you see tears from me is death. Anything else is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when it happens to me, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I've had horrible things that like I should feel a way about, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like survival mode. You know, I think most men are just taught survival mode. You're not even taught
It's like
emotions.
autopilot at this
'cause
point.
you weren't groomed. I always take it back to the it's my idea. It's the get up type of thing as a little child. Most boys have probably experienced it where you fall. What your
Come
parents
on,
say?
get up.
Get up. You're all right. Get up.
Yep.
And y'all, for most of your life, you're told, get up.
Right.
You're
All
all
right.
So in our mind, that's why vulnerability in certain words is like, no, get up.
Get up.
I didn't have
You're
that.
right.
That wasn't a thing for me.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I noticed that in particular, just in myself, just now having this new clarity and things, is like, damn, I think it's because I was never told to sit down.
Right.
You're not all right, or that it's okay that hurt. Did it hurt? It's okay.
Yeah,
if it
that's how I
hurts.
talk to my kids.
You know what I mean? Like
gotta
it's
know.
my parents when I taught them. My father is a Southern man from the deep South.
Right.
You know, like ain't none of that shit. Like I walked 8 miles and I did chickens and I killed.
I grabbed
crocodiles
chicken
and
straight out the
skinned
grease.
snakes and you got there
Straight out the grease.
Some damn boy outside. Like you like damn bro. He
A
got a knife,
goddamn
bro.
spatula. I'm flipping pancakes
Yeah.
with my hand.
Like, yeah, he got a knife. He got a knife. That's it.
Right,
Boy,
right,
I walked
right.
7 miles to fight a man with a knife.
On
Not
ice
walking
picks.
7
On ice
to
picks.
fight a man with a
In pitch
knife.
black
That is
Get you a
darkness.
Southern,
hella funny.
old Southern daddy.
On
You gonna
one
get
leg.
Not walking the
It was
7 miles for to fight
a man with a
hell-
knife.
On one leg.
That's hella.
Stitch
one
myself up. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. And you worry
That's hella
about So it's like you just never
Had to bite the
That's
three.
hella funny.
bite 3 of myself.
I just
like
think the
the
walking the
three.
7.
Blood.
That's tickle.
The
That's hella
7.
funny.
I promise you.
Seven.
Walking 7 miles to fight a man with a knife is hella funny.
Yeah.
I've got no stories of like my father would
That's
tell me
hella
those type of. So it's like that's who I had. I had
Right,
this
right.
rough Southern man in my house my whole life who was just like, I'd never seen that man cry. I remember he got stabbed and he barely acknowledged it.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh shit.
Yep.
Just like, that's all we getting?
Yep.
So how dare I come around this man and say like, yo, this is a nigga outside way bigger than me that's trying to fight.
Yep.
Like this nigga, this a kid in my elementary. His name was Duran. Shout out to you, bro. Hope you're all right. But he was this really big kid, and he grew up super poor, like way poorer than me, and like no clean clothes. Came to school smelling everything, so kids would tease him. And also, he was a big kid for his age, so it was really just you just this big.
He like literally stood
Yeah,
Oh.
out.
this is when like the neighbor professors are like, this is a big clump, big head. So he's getting all that, and so he would start bullying people back. It's just like, you know what I mean? And the guy's a point, he just got control. It's like, I was like, I'm bigger than y'all. So I can't, he start fucking with me. I can't go home and tell my country ass daddy that this man at schools, like, I'm scared of this. So I'd like, all right, either I go in here and get my ass whooped and maybe get a some type of award at home,
Right.
or I'll get my ass whooped because I tell my dad I'm scared of somebody. You know what I mean? Like, you just...
Dang.
It wasn't most.
It's that shame,
Most men
bruh.
were taught. So when you say that, he's like, yeah, most men were not taught that. Anyway, we'll keep going on it. Is there any other ones any common emotions that like adults ignore? Because not you talk about that, I do realize as adults we don't really acknowledge shit.
I mean, we don't, and it actually kind of changes like how we communicate. Like even if we like just talked from emotions, right? So like we just don't do that. So I always like to give personal examples, right? Well, I've also done on Bay Therapist, but like it was some man I wanted to hear from, Okay, I wasn't hearing from him. I was feeling away, right? And I'm writing a soliloquy in a text message, right?
I think it's funny how
Not a
It is
soliloquy.
whole
It's really funny
soliloquy,
how
right? I had told him, I was like, had he looked at his iPhone at the time, he would have seen that bubble going
For hella long, huh?
hella long. Because I was like, exactly. I just feel like I'm always having to ask you, and I feel like the last time I saw it, I had to initiate, and I just don't even know why. Right? And before I be hovering over a message before I send it.
I do
right?
too.
You know,
I
so
gotta
was
make
kinda
sure
like,
I'm.
and then you know what? And I had to ask myself, I was like, Sharon, what's the actual issue? And then I deleted the whole soliloquy and just wrote, I miss you. That's what it fundamentally just came down to, right? And if people like actually did better at talking from emotions, communication would be so much more clearer, right? So like, because you can't argue an emotion.
Yeah.
You just can't do it, right? So
No.
what he gonna say, like, you don't miss me? No, like, it is what it is. But if I had did this whole thing about what he don't do and whatever, he can conceivably come
Boom,
back.
boom,
I
bam,
actually
bam.
didn't do that, or that's not true. And it kind of doesn't even get to the point where it's just like, I just miss you. That's just, I just miss you, right? And actually he ended up responding back. I was like, oh, what's up? You want to go kick it? Or like, had I just like, and then it ended up just not even being a thing because I just said it, right?
Nah,
Right.
that's real. That I
Man,
miss
right.
you, like that feeling.
That's it.
That's just real.
Man.
I was just finna say, I
that's
feel
just
like
the found.
that is an
That's just the
uncomfortable
found.
I feel like one of the emotions that
Tension.
people don't talk about is loneliness. I think that's a
Loneliness.
thing.
But it's all the emotions because I don't think we know. So like even if let's say let's say this is like I'm making this up. Let's say it's a couple, right? And let's say I don't know, woman been washing dishes all week and just like don't understand why he don't do it, right? And then he's like, well, I don't know, I've been having to pick up the kids from school every day.
But
I
she
just
seems like she got
don't,
an
and,
attitude all the time.
whatever,
I don't
right?
know why.
So what ends up happening is what happens. Woman is like, you don't ever do nothing, you don't ever blah, blah, blah. And he like, yes, I do, because I be picking up the kids and, whatever it is. And then now this is the conversation that we're having, right? But it's a very different conversation than instead of a woman being like, hey, you don't never do nothing, you don't ever do the dishes. What if it was like, hey, this week when I was doing the dishes all week, I felt kind of alone in that. I felt kind of by myself in that, you know what I mean? I felt kind of like, whatever, right? And then the, man says, you know what, I kind of felt the same. Like this week when I was like with the kids, I had kind of wondered like how you can help or whatever. And then when you kind of talk from that way, it just kind of gets down to the core of it, right? It's not this like whatever. And then it's kind of like, and then you kind of learn in that example I just gave, emotionally, they're actually probably on the same page, right? So again, I mean, so what are common emotions? I don't know. I mean, there's so many of them, right? So I'm just telling you, like, common ones for men is like scare, jealousy, that stuff. But in general, we are not good at pinpointing the emotion that's driving our behaviors and what we're doing. And because of that, then we end up having like these roundabout the way conversations
Yeah,
and
they
not really speaking to the
meander, like,
core of like what's actually
around
happening,
it.
right? But it's actually speaking for emotions is the best communication tool I know because it really just gets down to the core. So yeah.
Okay. Well, sticking somewhat in the space of adults' emotions, going back to what we're talking about as far as like imposter syndrome and all that, why do you think it's difficult for people to start a business or chase a dream? Is there like a fear that they just don't recognize associated with it? Like, 'cause being someone who started a business, now pursuing a goal, a dream of finding a value, like, what are some things that you may have experienced yourself or you see from speaking with entrepreneurs and being a therapist with entrepreneurs that you see that maybe stops people from pursuing things they want?
Yeah, I mean, I think myself and a lot of folks think of worst case scenarios, right? Like the worst case scenario. So before I quit my job, I was like, I am going to never get a new client. I'm going to make no money. I'm going to lose my housing. I'm going to be on the streets. I ain't going to have nowhere to go. And, and then I had to just kind of be like, Sharon, for that to happen, a lot of stuff got to happen. That means like I would have to go out my way to make that.
fuck
Like
this
I would
up.
literally have to like go under a rock, never post anything on the internet again, forget any knowledge that I've ever learned.
Cancel my clients.
I gotta like cancel. I mean, I would have to do
A lot.
a lot.
A lot.
I would have to not pay my housing for like a long time. I mean, it take a long time to get kicked out or whatever, right? Like I don't know, like So the more I kind of realized like this was ridiculous at some point, I was like, okay, so I feel like all my answers like I gotta give all this context, right?
Good.
But
We like
back
context.
when the first caveman, cavewoman, Neanderthals, whatever, right?
Whoever thought.
early,
Okay.
Yeah,
them
them folks
early
back
people,
then.
them early people,
Them back there.
them
folks
early
back then.
people,
Them back
right?
there.
them early people, right?
Them.
You in your tribe, you got to survive, right? So you had to be a really good problem solver to survive, right? And if you weren't a good problem solver, survival of the fittest, you was left behind, right?
Man, the
Right?
first nigga that said like it's
But
cold.
did you
Like,
die?
oh,
Some of you did.
I'm sorry. I try to be serious. I do.
Sorry.
They tell you I struggle with it.
Not the first one. Anyway,
I'm sorry. It's tough, man. Don't take me to church.
We some baby kids.
Do not go to
for
church
real.
with me at all.
So-
I don't know
God
how
will
you
not
put
be
up
there.
with it.
I mean,
God will not
listen,
forgive you.
if you couldn't hang, you getting left, right? It's just
Yeah.
that simple, right? And
sorry.
so he's ridiculous. So anyway,
You stayed back there. okay?
yeah. So, but the reason why I give this context is so today in 2024, we call this an annoying feature of the brain. And that's a very annoying feature that we have is our brain wanders to all kinds of stuff. This is literally what we do, right? So it's like did and who's they, I don't know who's they, but there was a study. Somebody did it, right?
The
You know,
theys, thems.
The they who did this study, right? It was like these brain scans and you can see it. So let's say somebody was focusing on a task. That part of the brain that's needed to do that task lit up, right?
yeah.
Boom. But then as soon as they were done with the task, then the whole brain lights up, right? Because our brains start thinking about all the random things, right? So the only way we can kind of get it back is to kind of refocus on a task or a topic. And then, so I say all this to say
That's me.
why we sort of have these fears or why we don't go for it or whatever, because we have this very annoying feature of the brain that thinks of worst case scenarios
Immediately.
because our brain is really good at what it does. Our brains are trying to problem solve for all these bad things that can happen to us, right? So then we just listen to this brain of ours and we're like, oh, this is all danger. So I think the way we kind of get through that is really by just understanding that that is literally the function of the brain and that is what it does, right? And this is like a real technique, but it's kind of like when your brain is doing that mind wandering thing, you kind of just recognize it and I thank my brain. I'm like, all right, brain, I hear you. Thank you. And we're going to refocus now.
And that's it today, folks.
And that's what we do, right?
Back to you, Bob. What the hell was that?
Exactly. And you bring it and you bring it back. But I think that's a big thing that we have. This a very annoying feature of our brain that is meant to protect us.
Bruh.
And so then when we're
Mine
thinking
need to
about
cut
taking
off.
a leap or doing something different, our brains are on overdrive because it's trying to protect us, right? Yeah.
going.
And so again, that's when you're trying to go back to those fears and those anxieties again, and you're just trying to it's just recognizing that all of this is happening. You don't fight it. You're not like, I shouldn't feel this way. It's just, hey, I feel this way. I get it. My brain is doing what it does. And so for me, really before I took the leap, I did lean into all those worst case scenarios. I was like, okay, Sharon, this is your fear. Real or not, your brain making this up, but this is your actual fear, right? So then how do you protect yourself from these potential fears? All right, well, work for the city for a couple more years, get a good foundation in your retirement. Again, I got a long way to go, but like I have 10 years of
Still,
retirement
yeah.
before I kind of took this leap, right? Or I kind of learned investments or savings or whatever it was. So I kind of got myself prepared.
Mitigation, kind of.
You know
Like
what I mean?
you
And I knew
take
that
care of what you
like
can.
when I quit, I wasn't just gonna have full-time clients. So I made sure I had something money to kind of hold me over during that transition, right? So it's just kind of like leaning into the fear, preparing for it as much as you can, but just know that our brains do that annoying thing because it's there to protect us. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Like it's even doing this. This was the reason why it took us a year. It's because me primarily. I myself and VS, we had conversations about it and we agreed to do it, and everyone and Shamari agreed. We all yeah, but I understood that like in some ways that like it kind of still starts with me because she's always talked about doing a podcast with me, something we've always talked about, and then I meet this man, you know what I mean? And again,
I've been
I first thought he
bothering
was a
him about
criminal.
it for a
I'm
very
gonna keep
long
saying
time.
that. I thought he was a criminal when I first met him. Some motherfucker like starting a business with a criminal. Who the fuck on believe this shit? Right?
Actually, well, I don't know.
I was worried. You know I like the other money.
I know.
So it's like I wasn't sure. So it's like I was like, nah, I'm not doing this shit.
Right.
And so, but I've been told for years, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. You're
Right.
funny. You should do a podcast. Oh, you're intelligent. You should do a podcast.
Yeah.
The way you think about it is, I was just like,
We've had like a whole separate group of people approach us about a podcast.
yeah, it's like, I should do
Like
a
it's
podcast.
been like people like, yo, and it's like,
What you want? I don't got no money. What you want? I don't got no money. So it's like all those things, and then like what made me finally say yes was because I realized at a certain point, because I do like a somewhat cognitive behavioral check in, like, all right, what you bullshitting on? You know what I mean? And then it's like,
nice.
I remember like I told this man, he agreed to do it, and I just been bullshitting on him. So I literally shot him a text, and like you did with your friend, like took accountability. I'm on bullshit, and I had no excuse. I'm on bullshit. Like, I apologize as a man. I'm like, yo, we're gonna do it. For sure gonna do it. Yeah. And then here we are.
Yeah.
But it took me to have that moment of
Shea
like,
butter God.
check in. Why are you ignoring this thing that people keep telling you to do?
Actually, look, can we?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's telling you like do it, right? And I do think as an entrepreneur, whenever you're going to start something new, it's sort of getting in touch with your why. Like, why do you want to do it? Like everybody else is telling you to do it, right? But why did you decide like this was important to you to do it?
I used to have these things called, I had a blog for my brand I had called Freshman, and I would do these things called Just a Thought. And I would just have these little random, I have brain farts.
These little blurbs.
Yeah, these little
know,
things, and I go in these
thought
streams of
pockets.
consciousness, and I've been told that like I'm preachy or like you lecture when you talk sometimes, and it's just like I'm not trying to, but I'm having a stream of consciousness, like these thoughts are running through my brain, and doing this was always fearful because it's like I like talking about these type of things just on a regular basis, but to put a mic and to actually. I think to make it official, make it an actual tangible thing.
An entity.
It scared me because then again I have these people involved.
Yeah. But why? But why? The question is why do it, right? Like, so
Why do
why?
it?
Like, because you have a stream of comments, that's what you do. But why make it tangible in this way? Why create a podcast out of it? Like, why put it for the world
I
in this way?
believe I'm very a spiritual person. I'm very much into God, so it's like I believe that a lot of times God sends you people or sends you like little just notes, little taps. Hey, hey, I don't know. I'm
He's
still
not
here.
gonna leave you alone.
I'm still here until you do. I could do this all day, And I just because he didn't know me, then he wouldn't start a podcast with me. Some people that even we knew just out of nowhere, let's start a podcast. We never talked to them about starting a podcast. It's just these little tidbits,
Like signs,
little
yeah.
droppings, like just leading me like you stupid. You need to just see what's going on. So I think that's how I got there. Just like
Yeah.
I'm not listening, and I need to listen. And I don't know what's on the other side of this.
Yeah.
But fuck it, we ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
so
when he.
that's literally how I got it. But it's, yeah.
Can I?
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you. Well, it's not very quick, but so okay, because you were a friend of my head, right? And when he had reached out, he had texted me. This is why I actually think you're good for this, right? Because you are literally both like with the shit and soft at the same time, right?
That's why I
Very
love
much.
that
what I'm
man.
saying? Like
That's
That's why I
T-shirt.
love him.
Like,
That's
you-
why.
Merch coming soon with the shit. The
It's
soft
the
You know
it's
what I'm
the
saying?
balance.
Yeah,
bro.
teddy bear
like
for me.
you really have a
guy's
great
amazing
balance of that, of like with the shit, but you're also insightful. And so, so again, when you were hitting me in the DM, I was like, I knew he would like this. I was like I had just fucked with it when you just the way you had approached it and the insight that you have. I think you're perfect for it.
Listen,
I do too.
I think you're perfect.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because you're
just
both.
saying that because I owe you money. But
I've been saying that. I've been saying that.
I think you do too.
Yeah,
I
like,
think
you're
you
actually
too.
you are both. You are both.
I think you're freaking
I
phenomenal.
think for me, it's that like
Phenomenal.
representation is a lot is key for me, and I think like I just wanted to see somebody that was interested in the shit I'm interested in. Because like even when it came to me starting my brand Freshman, it started off as a clothing brand because I got tired of wearing everybody's shit.
Right.
And it's just like, are certain things I'm like, why don't I do that and that and that? And then I had a homeboy who was at Chabot in class, literally freshman year.
Chabot was lit.
Man, we had
Chabot was
Chabot
lit.
jumping.
Yeah, Chabot sounded like it was lit.
We had Chabot jumping.
Yeah.
Man, everybody from Oakland was at Chabot.
I was
Chabot
too
was lit.
young.
You know what's funny? Everyone went to Chabot because they feel like everybody from Oakland gonna be at Laney.
Right.
And all the ass went to Chabot.
Right.
So it's like you trying to escape. Oh,
Right.
shit.
Everybody looking at
You
everybody.
here
from
too?
town. Yeah.
What you doing here?
Yeah.
You know, and niggas act like Hayward is just like LA. But it's Hayward.
I was too
Right.
young.
Yeah, it was crazy. But
I
yeah,
wasn't there.
it was like I started like I have ideas. My friends started clothing brand. It's just like, just do it yourself.
Yeah.
So coming back to this, it was just one of the things. It's just like I just had an urge to like hear the shit I want to talk about, or have conversations about things I'm interested in, and just like hopefully there's somebody out there that fucks with what we're interested in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a tough thing being a creative. You know what I mean? Doing this shit for us. As we know, we have conversations. You know what I mean? He has multiple things going in his life. She has multiple things going in her life.
Yeah.
I have other things. You have. So it's like to commit to doing this, to the equipment and all that. Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah.
It was super, super fearful. Like,
Yeah.
because once the first time we did it, I was like, oh shit. So
Like
We're
oh,
doing
this is
this.
on. Yeah, like we're doing this.
this
yeah.
is on.
Yeah.
Like,
We're doing this right
Yeah.
now.
They can.
Yeah.
You can hear
Like,
me?
Yeah.
I am being recorded.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
why I'm asking about your why, right? Because the why is what helps that commitment, right? Because you got to have like a real close relationship with what that why is. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to get at with you, right? Like that strong why, whether that's like because you think these are important conversations that the world can be a part of, right? Or because you represent the man who is both, right? And you
Yeah.
kind of are able to speak to maybe other brothers out there who
Yeah.
ain't,
Who teeter-totter.
who are not as
Yeah.
in touch yet. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right?
Yeah.
Like even that, right? But like,
Well,
but
touch a
even,
little grass, fellas.
you
It's
know
all
what I'm
good.
saying? But just to kind of be in touch with like that why and have that relationship with that why, that is 100% what is what keeps it going, right? Because it is a commitment and low key to be an entrepreneur or to kind of chase a dream. Nipsey said this. Nipsey was like,
Big Nip,
Man,
neighborhood Nip, man.
Nip was like,
Love you.
To chase this dream, you do got to be a little crazy. You
For
got to
sure.
be a little crazy because why would you put
Absolutely.
yourself through it, right? So you got to just be a little off, right?
You off, for sure.
Yeah, and so then that why got to be strong about why you doing something a little off or a little crazy, right? So again, that's like because that mission for you to be, again, starting conversations.
Yeah, I just always like
gonna
these type of
be-
conversations.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy you said that about Nip, because I had a conversation with some artists I work with, and I try to tell them, like, you have to understand that what you're doing is a crazy concept. You want people to pay you to sing a song that you wrote with
Right.
words rhyming over an instrumental.
Right. Yeah.
What value they really get from that?
Right.
You know?
War down.
You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what you're expecting
Right.
people to, like, literally take these words you're rhyming together to create this story or the narrative
Right.
or this vibe, you know what I mean?
Right.
And for people to buy into it. And
Right.
then you want them to come watch you do it live,
Right.
even though you've been doing the shit in your room or your
Right.
studio.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now I'm supposed to pay and see you do the same shit I watched you do on Instagram?
Yeah.
Live?
But you know what though? I will say this, and so something else. When you ask me like what I've learned in this, what I will say, I've seen it. I've seen like on Instagram or memes. It's kind of like support Black businesses, or maybe there's like critiques around like maybe we don't support or whatever it is. In my experience, if people believe in the product or the talent, Black folks show up. I swear
sure.
to God,
Yep.
Black folks
For sure.
support.
We're
they
gonna be
buy,
there.
They support. They really, really do. Like I've experienced it firsthand. I see it like that's a real thing. So that's
sure.
why I keep talking about like that why or those values, right? Because I really believe those who don't chase the outcome, right? Like they're not whatever. When you just chasing like, I just want to get really good at what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put all my talent into it or all my energy and to get good. And you're just focusing on how do I just be the best at this thing that I do. And that kind of being the goal, if we're gonna have one, like the goal is I'm just going to be the best. I believe when you really reach that level, people support and people because you're talking about like the value of something. I think people respect anything that's extraordinary. right? Like I can't sing like that. I don't have that talent. I can't rhyme
Yeah.
like that. I can't do that. So I'll pay money to see something that is out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, like if it's a talent, I think we get inspired by that.
Yeah, shout out Magic Mondays. So when it comes to like going to, y'all can go there if y'all want to go there. I put that on the table. If you press that button, okay. But so when it comes to
Get the shit out the table. Nah.
I was looking for her. I was like,
Nah.
we're gonna go off something because I'm down for bullshit. But anyway, saying okay, brain, as you said. All right, refocus.
Not, I love how, you know what? I appreciate the applications.
Real time applications.
I like that application. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why do you think? Okay, so even when what if someone? How about how about the people who may start a business, chase a dream, pursue a goal, whatever it is, and then they're not putting their all into it. Yeah. How? Because I'm sure there's people who's watching this who are in that space where they're probably in the middle of starting something, but it's probably not moving in the traction
And they
want
get
to get.
discouraged.
Yeah, and because it's like they're not putting their all into it. Is there any type of advice or tools that can help them maybe like get over that little like? I wouldn't say would be called like afraid or maybe.
I usually call it like a funk.
Yeah, that
You
little
know?
funk, that little like timidness of not
Like
going fully into it because you went fully in.
like foot in, foot out.
Yeah, so like did you experience that type of moment? Of like, would you say having your job and having your practice would be you being that person of like foot in, foot out of your
It was, and so mine wasn't fully in because it was the biggest thing was a time constraint. That was like the biggest thing, right? So, yeah. So and I felt like that was limiting me and what I could do, and that's why at some point I felt like I had to quit the job because it was going to limit me, right? So I think for people who are not feeling like they're not putting their all into it, I think one just logistically, is there something you can do to like spread the time to like feel like you can put the energy towards it or whatever, or you can do the thing that you feel like is going to motivate you or whatever it is, or to inspire you or whatever it is, right? Yeah, and then again, if you're not putting your all into it, then again, I kind of go back to that values thing because then the question is why? Is this
your why?
Because I do believe in this difference between like external validation and internal, right? Like or internal motivation versus external, right? So I call it like so the internal is like I'm doing this thing because I just want to do this thing, right? So boom, versus external, I call it like the oohs and the ahs, right? It's like I create music and you hear like, ooh, or I work at whatever, right? Like, did you actually want to do that? You know what I mean? So honestly,
Was it
this
for
was like-
you or was it for them?
Exactly. So if this was therapy and somebody was like, they weren't putting their all into their own business, I would be curious about like, why did you start the business and what was that for you, right? And going back to this idea of like a relationship, sometimes you kind of got to go back to what got you to fall in love with the thing in the beginning,
With
right?
the thing.
And kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Gotta fall in love with the thing. With the I was like,
Not the y'all mean, with the y'all mean.
You
talking about the
you feel me?
thing.
And I was like, you feel me?
What got you falling in love with
So
the
I
thing?
mean, you gotta remember what
It's like,
got you.
You gotta
have a conversation.
remember.
You know
It's
what
like
I'm
you have a
saying?
conversation with town babies because they understand everything I just said.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Over and over
It
again.
makes
It was
sense. It
like,
was 100%.
got it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah.
That's crazy. So,
Yeah, but it's just going back to why did you love the thing? And making sure that was real for you from a real place.
From the get go, baby.
Yeah. And tap into that piece of it.
I have a just out there, not even out there question.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like we were talking about depression and all that stuff earlier? Why does it feel like depression is like this new thing that just hit the market?
Damn, not just hit the market.
It feels like that because it's like
Nah.
Okay, did anybody follow Kevin on stage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because
Yes.
if you saw the new stuff, with the septum thing and like the beanie.
Nah.
I haven't seen this.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
Okay.
Especially if you're
He's
from
funny
here.
though. Yeah.
Especially if you're from here, you like, those are so many people I work with.
Yeah.
But he was making fun of like people who are like supposedly fake woke. They have like the rolled up beanies with the pins in them, and have like that. The dudes have like that dang on the earring.
Oh, I
with the
did see
septum
that one.
here.
I
It's
did
like-
see
Not the
that.
septum,
So
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, you want me to make space for you?
Yes, I did
and
see
it's like,
that.
Start to make space because like our energies
That's funny.
are not
Yeah.
aligning.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
say
yeah.
something controversial yet possibly true.
Yeah.
I feel like part of that reason why it seems so flashy and new is because now it can be profited from.
I feel
Yeah.
like that too. I feel like now people use that as buzzword words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I definitely have a lot of. I mean, I think it can be
Profitable now.
multitude of things, right? I think it could be one. Maybe there's just more depression. We just have a lot we got to worry about. It's weird times we live through. We just actually, me and my friend were talking about it just in my lifetime, seeing freaking 9/11, Trump, the biggest earthquake, what was that, in 89 to COVID. I'd be like,
Losing
damn.
Bella Noches.
You like,
Bella
yeah.
Noche.
Like, but you know what I'm saying? You feel me? So
some Bella Noches.
maybe, and again, just adulting, all the things we got to do. Just so yes, maybe there's just more
Multiple
depression, right?
school
So that could just be a
shootings,
thing. It could also be just kind of thinking like maybe because mental health is becoming more of a no longer taboo. Maybe people can just say it now, right? And maybe depression was always happening. It's just people weren't reporting it as much, right? And again, I do think there's some buzzwords, and I do feel kind of passionately about this next one I'm gonna say, but like, I think depending on who you're talking to. So let's say, okay, so in therapy, right? People come in and will be like, Sharon, I'm depressed, just straight up, like I'm depressed, right? And I'll ask people like, well, tell me what depression looks like for you, or why are you saying that you're depressed, right? And maybe they're like, you know what, at home, my man, he's stressing me out, and it's kind of draining me, right? So like, yes, that's true that person has a low mood or they're feeling drained or tired, but they're not clinically depressed, right? This is a very kind of specific thing that's happening, right? But what I do think what can happen is, and I know to ask that question because I know how people talk. There's just a way that people talk. I'm depressed. Like, they don't necessarily mean like whatever. So I do sometimes worry, or I'm concerned about, like, let's say you go to a medical doctor or something and you say, oh, I've been depressed. And some doctors will probably just put that shit on your record,
Yep.
like clinically and whatever, because they're literally paying attention to the word that you use to describe the thing versus being curious about, well, why are you saying that, right? So I think it could be a number of things. It can be because we're reporting it more, whatever. And then again, just some of the way that people talk maybe gets like overdiagnosed with this stuff, potentially.
Over or misdiagnosed, perhaps.
Or and then I guess I don't know, I'm kind of theorizing in this moment, but like I'm just kind of wondering, like, we talked about a lot of people don't have sort of this full awareness of emotions, right? And people are just uncomfortable with certain emotions. So sometimes I feel like it's this sense of like, I'm feeling tired and I'm kind of angry about it. So like, I'm depressed that I feel this way, So I don't know. Maybe it's even like people just uncomfortable with the emotions and now they feel a way about it. So I don't know. I mean, I think it
there's
could
a
be
weird
or it could be
sensationalization.
profitable.
Yeah,
It can
that's
be
happening with certain words.
I think a lot of
weird.
reasons, but I do think people just talk like that.
Yeah, I
You know what I mean? That's just
I thought it's because
literally
we just
how it
start seeing more therapists that we can relate to. Like I said, being that we now social media and everything is such as it's big, it's everywhere, it's everything. And now, like I said, having a baby therapist, having someone that like, okay, I literally know, okay, she's young, okay, she's not an old lady with gray hair that's
Right.
like with glasses on her nose judging me.
Right.
Like, oh no, she got style. Oh no, she's regular.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So all this shit is like regular. Yeah, I feel like that. I think what kind of made it jump to me in some ways was seeing therapists have interviews and talk. And now, we got tired of seeing Dr. Phil and his shit.
Crazy.
You was paid by Oprah, bro. We didn't believe you. But
Worst thing Oprah ever did to us, look.
man,
that still boggles my mind. I'm like, oh,
I don't listen.
I don't know why she gave us
I am
that.
in stark agreement.
Yeah, so I just feel like now, we have people that look like us who are in our age group who have, have piercing, have tattoos, have just regular shit, and they are professionals and they are good at their job, but they just don't have to look like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
bef-
Yeah. I was gonna say multiple things. Yeah.
before we get you out of here, I want to talk about your book since we made mention of it.
I know. It's gonna be done one day.
You niggas
Yeah.
better read.
It's gonna it's gonna be done one day. Yeah.
Or
One
get it on
day,
audio
It
book.
will. Well, it's getting closer. It's getting
percentage
closer.
wise, how far have you gotten through it?
All my thoughts are done. Like they are all on paper at this
So
point.
where are you in the
They're-
process now? You sent it to your publisher? Or you
That's
just
so exciting
editing?
to hear, bruh.
I'm laughing.
I
This is a
love
great
reading, I
question
do.
because
Reading is so cool.
well, I send the chapters to my mom because she's a great writer. So she has one more chapter
Oh.
to proofread.
Nice.
So she's almost done. And then the reason why I chuckle is because I have no idea what it means to publish a book. I have not done any of this research. I literally don't know. I have a editor in my head, and she doesn't know it yet. But I'm gonna reach out to her soon and be like, I've been plotting on this for a while, long time, I think. Yeah.
okay, so-
but other than that, though, but I have no idea. So me and my mom are gonna go through the chapters because I do a lot of client examples. So one thing we want to change is like I'll say like in the book like oh Kodak said or explained or whatever, right? And I want to change that to me and Kodak were talking and he said I and me. Like I want to change it to first person versus like I'm explaining it or whatever. So we're gonna go through the book and do that.
A little deeper
But
connectivity.
3 years later, 200 pages later, I think is that as far as my thoughts like on paper, yeah.
Say that time again. How long is taking you to get to that so far?
It took me 3 years. 3 years.
3 years. Did
3
you
years.
stop? Did you like
3 years.
pivot? Did you put it down? Like I leave that alone.
For low key, like for sure a year consistently, I just dedicate so putting it all into it in time. I knew private practice 9 to 5. Then when my 9 to 5 job, and then I do private practice in the evening, 6, 7, and like 8, right? So it was like these very long days, right? During the week, I didn't even lie to myself and say I was gonna write a book.
Right.
I'm just dead tired. I'm about to just turn on this Family Feud and
live my life.
I'm gonna just live my life, right? So the only way that this was gonna happen, Saturday had to be the day. And I really, so I guess this is advice, right? It's like treat your personal time with the same respect that you treat these jobs, right? So like if I have
heard
a
it.
meeting on a Tuesday at 1 p.m. and one of my friends asks me to hang out, I'm gonna be like, nah, I got a meeting, right? But when it comes to our personal dreams and goals or whatever, I think we treat that time like this negotiable thing,
for sure.
right? And so if, so when I really committed, like I'm treating my Saturdays like a work day, and I go to the coffee shop from 9 to 5. Shout out to Ken Folks, to Farley's,
Man.
to
Ken Folks.
Pizza on
Ooh,
Lakeshore,
people sleep
the
on
way.
Farley's. Farley's has
Oh,
an
Farley's is-
amazing golden latte. Oh my God.
Farley's is actually my favorite.
so good.
But shout out to all the
So
coffee shops
good.
that have been a part of my journey. Shout out to the coffee shops in LA when I was out, the Hilltop, Issa Rae's, all that. Like coffee shops were 100% a part of this process, right? But I say all that to say, 3 years it took me to write it, and consistently every Saturday, I did not give up that Saturday. I did not give it up. So if somebody was like, they want to kick it or want, I literally didn't do it. Somebody want to go out Friday night, kick it. I actually cannot do it because I'm going to be hungover and I can't focus the next day to like do this, right? So like, I was like, Sharon, keep that with the same respect that you do these jobs. So yeah, so I mean, I would say that as advice as well. But yeah, so 3 years pretty consistently Saturdays.
So how do you feel now at this point of the process?
It's crazy. Because I don't know what to do now. I'm talking about what not to do. I'm going, all that imposter is going, because I don't know. So then my brain going to start tripping and I'm going to have to be like,
She's like, I'm finna go through the
I'm
process,
start,
guys.
I'm gonna start tripping. Because I don't know. I literally have no idea. I did not do any of this research on how you actually publish. But I don't know if I want to self-publish, find a traditional. I literally, this is. I
And
have
pop
no
the
idea.
trunk, get it out the mud. You know,
Hey, look, I was finna say,
have no
shit.
idea.
I got
What's gonna
books
be
for
dope?
You
sale.
know what? I actually do think.
My brother, you like you can read?
Honestly, I do
book for
think I
sale.
want to go the self-publishing route and not give up on myself because I think that's why I was like, oh, I should do like a publishing. But
think you should
honestly,
do
I
it
don't think traditional publishing even really. I don't think they really do a lot for you. I think they just. I don't think like they don't market for you. They don't whatever.
You have
So
to
I just
usually put
kinda
that in the
feel
clause.
I'm really having in my mind that I'm going to like self-publish and fund my own book tour and market my own.
So you coming back here once it's done?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, without going into too much detail, what can you tell the people about the book, if anything? Even if
Yeah.
you don't have to give them direct, this is what it's all about, but just like, in
I'm gonna
this
try to
realm.
keep this short because when I do talk about this book, I get passionate and I'll be
How
talking
passionate,
for
Messi?
hecka long about it. So I'm gonna try not to, because I'll be like, and I had to this chapter and this, because I get excited about each one or whatever.
What's there about kids? What do kids do? Like,
Like,
Look,
like
Ma,
look at me,
look
like,
what I
like what
made.
I did. Yeah,
And that boy good.
No, no,
Call
no.
back.
Listen, I don't have story time with a friend come over to my house. I'll be like, do
Absolutely.
you want me? Can I read you this chapter?
Book clubs, girl. Come on now. Come with it. Come with it.
My glass of Henny, like,
You're right. And I'm over here like trying to read like this,
No.
whatever. But
pass me the hookah.
Is it on an
we
audiobook?
would do that before you got the.
Let's play it, bro.
This would be like the prelude to that. You know what I'm
Actually,
saying?
I'm red cup shawty.
Okay,
I walk
before
in.
it's I would just tell you like to wait or something.
red cup
You can just tell me, just tell it to me, like just talk
You know
about
what I'm
it.
saying?
I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
But you insightful. I feel like you would enjoy it. But no, I mean, so the whole book, because what I hear in therapy a lot is the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. That is a very popular concept about, and there's a lot of shame and regret. And so what this entire book is different topics of how people navigated, basically created their own story. Because the word should means that you're making something up, that life should be this way or this should have happened or whatever it is, right? And it's literally made up in our heads and it's not true, right? So from who you should love or what kind of career you should have or what love should be or it's just a lot of shit. Or what the chapter on men, it was like what men felt like a man should be and how did they sort of navigate and sort of define manhood from themselves, right? I actually have a whole chapter on womanhood and it's actually 100% about me, right? But it's really about, so I'm in the book as well, but it's really about all of the shoulds I had heard ever.
And like an exploration of it.
Yes, and I think women would relate to it, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever. But I really kind of navigated. So that's really what it's about. It's about these shoulds that we've been that have been taught to us and that we believe as some standard of what we're supposed to be and how people navigated it and created their own lives. So I use examples of myself and clients and friends, and I interviewed a lot of people and. That's
I'm
what it
excited.
is.
I want to
so
listen to it on audiobook while I'm sipping on my latte.
That's what's up.
At
That
work.
makes me happy.
That's very much something I would do. Like I would have my latte and it'd be playing. I'd be like, girl, say that. Like I talk like I'm a weirdo.
With your
Yeah.
AirPods in.
No.
Sitting by
It's
yourself.
hooked up on my speaker.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd
It's
be
hooked
outside.
up
I
on
was
the
like, this shit
speaker
would be outside.
because I'm probably moving around my office doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah. See, yeah,
That's
so
great.
yes, and writing the book for me was really therapy. Honestly, because there was just things I hadn't thought about in a long time. So I don't think my sort of defining womanhood was just going to be about me, but it ended up just
Yeah.
doing that, right? But it was just kind of like, I wear sneakers, right? I, as a woman, have questioned that for the longest because all I hear is men are visual creatures and I should be girly or whatever. So just even navigating like, damn, is that what it means to be a woman? Like I have to like kind of dress a certain way or like look away. I used to work at a clothing store and in that dressing room, women, they weren't hating on the clothes. They were hating on their bodies in those clothes about my whatever. And so just how and then what I've ever heard about my body and just being like, damn, should I look like this? Should I have this? Should I? Right? So just me in that chapter was like super therapeutic because it was just all the ways or how women decide who they have sex with and why and are they doing it because they actually want to or is it because the man wants to and they feel like they should do it for these reasons, right? Like we have a lot of anyways, that was a fun chapter.
ooh, that's
for
gonna
me
be
to-
good,
to
y'all.
Yeah,
write,
I want that
but-
chapter particularly.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, so I really went into that. But again, I think it's relatable to all women, but it happens just to be about me in that chapter. Yeah.
One last quick question. Do therapists have therapists? Because you said it was like therapy writing that chapter. So I've always wondered.
Yeah.
Okay, so therapists do have
Yeah,
therapists.
therapist,
Okay, cool.
therapist. I've done
Iron sharpens iron, Kodak.
I've done therapy 3 times in my life. And it was like for a very specific thing. Like I was going through something specific, went to therapy and did that. Yeah, so I've done it before.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks
no.
for sharing that.
This
Like,
was
it was
awesome.
great.
you. Thank
This was
you.
dope. Like, I had a lot of fun doing this. I mean,
Good.
I'm looking forward to the book. I'm
Yeah,
ready
I
for
need
the
to
book.
look.
Thank you.
I'm ready.
Y'all
So we
encouraging. I appreciate it. I really
ready.
do.
Yeah, man. So, yeah.
Because I'm gonna be that person that like takes a picture with the book. Like I'm gonna be like, you know, like very
Yeah.
influential. Like
That's cute. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm
So I slide the
excited.
book to
yeah.
No, I'm excited. Are you kidding me? And then all those fears come up, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fund my own book tour.
Yes.
I know the day I'm about to like do a book reading, I'm gonna be looking at that door like, please somebody come, please somebody come. Right? You know, it's scary. You know
Oh my
what I
God,
mean?
us with the
Yeah.
pre-screen. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my
So I
God.
kind of want this whole party for it, but I'm like,
You got to.
people gonna come.
Yep,
you know,
they
right?
is.
But,
Yep.
but you do it. That's
Because we gonna be there.
because I have a why.
You have a why.
I
And
got a why.
you are
Yeah.
the Bay Area's therapist.
Thank you.
So everybody has to come see their therapist.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ooh.
Yeah, I appreciate
So
y'all
on
having
that
me.
note, man, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of A Regular Thing, the podcast, man. Hope you guys gain something from this. Please follow this woman, Bay Therapist, on social media. As you see,
Don't
she's
sleep.
cool as hell, and her sneaker game is way meaner than most.
It's probably
y'all.
like for us
the
to
table's
say.
blocking it, but
It's probably more fire
it's
than
some
yours.
cleats on the feet.
That is
But
funny.
No
I
shade.
do like my sneakers.
No shade.
Right.
All tea.
Oh, so
No shade, though.
Once again, I'm Kodak. Behind the lens is my good brother, the shape of the God, VS.
Nice man. Cool side
Across
man.
from me.
And you already know, man, it's your girl Maury Moore. It's art, baby. It's art,
Yes,
darling.
in between us is the one and only Sharon, aka
Thank
Bay
you,
Therapist.
thank you.
Man, hopefully see y'all on the next one, man. Y'all be smooth out
We
there.
love y'all.
All right, bye.
Peace and ease.